Hello and welcome to session 5 of Global Sources Virtual Summit. This is the last session of the summit, and we are so excited for you to join us today. There are so many amazing presentations that we've got lined up today. First of all, we're going to have Chelsea Cohen talk about inventory and how to manage inventory in 2022. Then we've got Regina, who's going to be talking about exiting your brand and sharing what buyers are looking for. We've got CJ Rosenbaum, who's going to be talking about preparing for post-COVID success. And then last but not the least, we've got Steven Selikoff, who's going to be sharing how you can expand to retail if you're currently only selling on e-commerce. So a super exciting lineup, and we're going to end the summit with a big bang. Quick reminder to everyone, if you haven't already registered, please do so at the URL that you see on the screen, globalsource.com/summit. And when you do register, you'll get all of the slides that all the presenters have been sharing. You'll be able to join our Telegram group, and you'll also get all of the replays indexed via email after the summit. I want to give a big shout out to our sponsors, Amazon Social and Gemba, and they have been supporting the Global Sources Virtual Summit, and we are really, really thankful to them. Let's take a look at a quick video about our sponsors. So Gemba is offering a really good ebook that describes all of the supply chain trends in 2022. I would strongly encourage you to go download that ebook. There's a lot of great information about what to expect in the next year, and also what are some of the emerging sourcing markets out there. So they've got descriptions about India, Mexico, Vietnam, all of the emerging sourcing destinations that currently a lot of Amazon sellers are looking for as they diversify their sourcing. Let's also take a look at another video about Amazon Social. Amazon Social is an agency that helps manage your social media. If you're an Amazon seller, e-commerce seller, they also manage things like Amazon posts, and really good agency, and also very affordable. That's something that we really appreciate about them. And they're giving away a mega prize today. At the end of the session over here, we're going to be giving away a couple of mega prizes, and one of the prizes is $1,000 worth of free access to their services for 1 whole month. So stick around until the end for that prize. And then we've got a couple of other prizes as well. We've got Global Sources sponsoring 3 nights in Hong Kong if you're traveling to their trade shows, either in April next year or October next year. And we've also got Chelsea Cohen from SoStock offering 3 months free access to their software to 3 people. So tons of great mega prizes that we're going to be giving away at the end of the session. Stick around and participate in the quiz to stand a chance to win these prizes. Okay, so let's get started now. I'm going to invite Chelsea on screen. Hi, Chelsea. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us, Chelsea. And first of all, I have to say, I love the poster that you have in the background, the toilet paper, and we were talking about that earlier. That is just so interesting. Okay, so Chelsea, you're going to be talking about inventory in 2022 and how people should basically stay stocked in 2022. That's been such a big challenge the whole of 2021 with all the craziness going on. So super excited about your session. Let's get started. I'm going to share your screen, and there we go. It's over to you.
Sure. Thank you. Hey guys. So yeah, I'm going to be talking about inventory strategies to profitably stay stocked in 2022. I'm going to talk about a couple of aspects of not just inventory, but supply chain in general. And again, profitability, why flexibility and attention to detail will save you from business ending mistakes. I believe 2022 is going to be the year that we need to really get clear on where we're going and how we're organizing our inventory. So we're going to talk about some major sweeping changes that you should be making in your business today. I believe that the businesses that succeed in 2022 are going to do so only because of flexibility and attention to detail. We're going to be talking about restock limits, truly understanding how the Amazon algorithm works and how you can take advantage of it. We'll talk about logistics. We're going to be talking about the state of trucking and freight and why you need to treat your 3PL managers and your freight forwarders as your best allies. They should no longer be treated as simply order takers. They have a wealth of knowledge, and what they know could help you immensely in getting your inventory checked in quickly. And then profitability. I'm going to be asking some questions of you and of your business that should hopefully expose some areas where you can recover some major profit within your business. Your supply chain has a bunch of profit in it, and you make or lose money before your inventory even checks in. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, a little bit about me. I've been selling on Amazon since 2014. I've been immersed in Amazon inventory for over 3 years now, spoken to hundreds of 6, 7, and 8-figure sellers specifically on inventory and inventory management, written over 50 articles on inventory and supply chain management. I've been on dozens of podcasts. My software has over 1,000 users and is currently used and recommended by top masterminds, influencers, agencies, and aggregators. So first, I want to talk about numbers. Numbers don't lie, or do they? It's very, very important to make sure that the numbers that you're using within your inventory calculations are correct. So we're going to talk about the basis of that calculation. It's something that we call daily adjusted velocity. It uses averages, not monthly totals. So one of the things that can happen is that you look at the total monthly sales, and especially when you're looking historically, say back at last year, when you're doing your calculation for Christmas, you look at your last year's total sales and you blindly take that number. The problem with that is that you've got sales spikes, you've got stock outs, you've got deep discounts, you've got all of these other anomalies that will potentially not be occurring again. So you don't want that going into your calculation. So you want to find your daily, basically your daily run rate or your daily sales velocity. And we call it adjusted velocity because it's adjusted to factor out stock outs and non-recurring sales spikes. Once you have this foundation, which I refer to as true velocity, daily adjusted velocity is true velocity. From there, you can do things like adding your growth trends and your marketing plans and all of that. But you have to have this number correct to begin with. So I want to get into a little bit of a story on why this number matters so much and how you could potentially go wrong with this. So we have a use case of an Amazon seller, a 7-figure seller that had been using software and also had built a spreadsheet. And those two tools were not serving him properly. He kept stocking out and he couldn't figure out why he was stocking out. So we were able to find out what the correct calculation was for his product, and he was able to stop stocking out and increase his sales by thousands of dollars by keeping his best products in stock. And this is exactly how it works. So we have software, we have spreadsheet, and then we have the proper calculation. So the software was telling him he had 8 units a day as his sales velocity. The spreadsheet that he created told him he had 10 units a day. But when we actually did a correct calculation of what his daily adjusted velocity was, it turned out that he had 15 units a day as his velocity, which is a huge difference. So that turned into him going from stocking out consistently by following those directions and placing his weekly orders based on bad data into avoiding stock outs and being able to stay in stock. So why does some of this stuff happen? There are 2 factors that you need to look at when you're calculating your stock outs. The first one is, did you have stock? This is something that can historically be pulled from Amazon's API. If you don't currently have a software or a system that pulls your API data, this is something that you should track inside of what I call a stock out log. So anytime you have a stock out, note the dates that you had that stock out and note it down so that you can properly adjust your calculation. The other thing that needs to be considered is, was there an unusual interruption to your normal sales velocity? This can include lower sales days when you have a stock out, lower sales days coming back in stock from a stock out, periods of time where you have a stock out, but Amazon finds that one unit, that one day of sales where you sold one unit during a stock out, and also listing suspensions. Listing suspensions should be treated similar to a stock out in that they're not a normal sales pattern. So the major calculating error in a lot of these different calculations, whether they be the softwares or they be your spreadsheets, the major calculation is that you're only looking at number one. You're only looking at, did you have stock, period. That causes problems in this way. You have days that should be counted as stock out days, but they are not being counted. So if you're selling 100 units a day and right before a stock out, you sell 23 units, that day should not be counted as a stock out. So in some systems, they factor that as that day should be counted as a stock out. In some situations, they count that as an in-stock day. We would factor that as a stock out day. Same with that one unit that Amazon finds, same with the day that you're coming back into stock. It makes a huge difference. If you're using a 30-day average velocity, you can see that the difference is significant. We have 26 in-stock days versus 23 in-stock days, and the calculation is a 10-unit difference. So 10 units a day, you're going to be off in your calculation. That causes stock outs. And so that is how your numbers can essentially lie to you. If you're not looking at the numbers properly, your numbers can lie to you and tell you the wrong data, and then that carries through for your entire forecasting. So if you're ordering 3 months worth of inventory and you're 10 units a day lower than what you should be, that's hundreds of units, even up to thousands of units that you could be under ordering. All right. Let's move on to the number one inventory mistake sellers make. So beyond that, once you've got your calculation right, what is the number one mistake sellers make? I've talked to hundreds of sellers, hundreds of 6, 7, and 8-figure sellers, and surprisingly, it was even 8-figure sellers that were making this mistake as well. And that mistake is marketing inside of a vacuum. We are all marketers, and we are all tend to be marketers first. So whenever we hear of a cool marketing tactic, we want to jump on it right away. Problem is that we then can cause ourselves to stock out. Gone are the days of essentially marketing inside of a vacuum. We need to coordinate marketing and inventory. They must work together. So it becomes even more important for your teams to work together due to restock limits. Restock limits means that we not only have to make sure that we have enough stock, but we also need to make sure that our stock is moving so that our slow sellers don't cause us to get into a situation where we're running out of stock for our best sellers because our restock limits are clogged up with slow moving inventory. Marketers need to market across their entire catalog, and so the coordination needs to be done in several different points. The first coordination point would be your marketing gives your inventory their marketing plans to vet out before they execute. So instead of just shooting from the hip and deciding you're going to apply a specific, say, listing optimization technique that boosts your conversion 5%, that's great for marketing, but if you don't have the inventory to back it up, that could run you right into a stock out. Similar with PPC ads, etc. It's very, very important that inventory knows what's going on so they can warn you if starting a campaign with a particular SKU is going to lead to a stock out, because it gets very expensive, not only in re-ranking and air shipments and all of that side, but also if you're doing, for example, 20% off coupons and you're doing a 20% off coupon campaign and you run into a stock out, that 20% off coupon could have been a full price sale. So this is one of the things that we put together. I call it the inventory minded marketing planner. And this is a planner that helps you to get all of the data from the marketing team to the inventory team. So the marketing team can isolate what kind of a velocity calculation is being used, right? How are we going to be assessing? Are we looking at last year's sales? Are we looking at a past 30 days worth of sales? What are we looking at? Then you can add a trend. This becomes very helpful when you're looking at your month-over-month growth or year-over-year growth, and you're wanting to do a calculation adding trend on top of that. You can also add a sales growth percentage. This is helpful for PPC. If you know you're running a PPC campaign and you have a feeling that it's going to boost your sales by 10%, you would add that into here, and that tells inventory that they should plan to increase their order by 10%. Then you have lightning deals, telling which range and how many units you plan to move. This is also effective for any sort of sales campaign, an email campaign, influencer campaign, and the like. And then finally, seasonal sales spikes. These could be an increase or a decrease. Let's say you have a summer product that it increases in sales by 50%. You can put that range of sales increase into the planning as well. All right, so now that we have marketing talking to inventory, inventory is not off the hook. They actually need to give data to the marketing team as well. This becomes important in helping the marketing team to craft their marketing campaigns to make sure that inventory is constantly moving through Amazon. So one of these things would be the stock out risk report. This is a report that would be used to look at the potential products that are going to possibly stock out. What is that date that they might stock out? How many days are they going to be out of stock? That way, if anything needs to be adjusted by marketing, they can make those adjustments and plan for that occurrence. If they can be avoided, that is great. If not, then they know what to do in that sense as well. An easy calculation for this would be total inventory divided by your daily adjusted velocity. And that would give you your total days of remaining stock. So you would be able to calculate at what point would you be running out of stock. Then these next three are going to sound like the same thing, but I'm going to explain the differences and how you use them from a marketing perspective. So the first one is the slow sellers report. I call it the move it or lose it list. These are the ones that are not necessarily performing up to your standards, but they're not completely failing. The use for this would be to set a minimum and a maximum daily adjusted velocity range. So let's say in your business, 20 sales a day is a viable product, and less than 5 is a product that you just want to get rid of. But within that range between 5 and 20 sales, those are your slow sellers that you think maybe I could do something with, maybe I could revive these. That list then goes to your marketing team, and then your marketing team figures out ways that they could ramp up sales so that these products don't end up becoming such slow sellers that they move into our next category of sales. Our next category of sales then would be your liquidation report. So you have your slow sales report, your slow sellers, and then the liquidation report would be the other report that you need to send to your marketing team. These are the ones that you plan on not restocking. You want to sell through them or you want to remove them from FBA. Now, what the team could do is then devise a plan to move the inventory before it becomes a blocker that blocks other inventory from being checked into Amazon. It doesn't necessarily mean, even though it is called a liquidation report, it doesn't necessarily mean that you will send it to a liquidation company. This stock could be valuable to you, and you could potentially use it to boost your restock limits by driving sales at a lower price. If you're driving sales through Amazon and you're essentially liquidating it through the Amazon platform as Amazon sales, that will help your restock limit. So this can be a very valuable report for marketers to use also to help increase your restock limits by increasing sales velocity. And then you would be essentially setting simply a minimum daily velocity. So we'll say, for example, 5 units, less than 5 units a day is the average velocity. That's going to be your liquidation report. It's going to vary from business to business, but that's just an example. And then lastly is your overstock report. So you can have products on your slow sellers and your liquidation, you can have those products that are also on your stock out report, but you also may have best sellers here as well. What you want to do is you want to isolate these as essentially excess inventory that's sitting at FBA. The excess inventory can hurt your restock limits. It can hurt your abilities to send in inventory and also your IPI score. So you want to be maintaining a good plan for moving the overstock. This is something that you want to use to clear space, to avoid fees, but also, as I mentioned, to use to boost your restock limits and increase your sell-through and therefore increase your IPI score as well. So this might be looking at products that you have more than a 90-day supply, or nowadays even a 60-day supply. More than 60-day supply might be considered overstock. All right, all this talk about restock limits, we want to go ahead and actually address the elephant in the room. We go to a lot of events, we hear a lot of marketing, but one of the questions in the back of our head is, how can I market if I don't have inventory? You can't market what you don't have. So we need to understand restock limits and figure out how can we use restock limits to our advantage, and how can we understand restock limits so that even though we might stock out on a product, we're not completely tanking our restock limits. So first of all is to address why restock limits actually exist. We know that Amazon's been having a hard time on the warehousing and storage side of things. And Amazon never really intended to be a storage facility. They always intended to be a distribution center. So for years and years, we've left our inventory there, and we've just taken for granted that they're going to take any inventory that we send in, and they have gone to the point of saying, no, we're not doing that anymore. So their number one metric for inventory is sell-through. Sell-through is the number one metric. It's the most important thing. It's actually what every single point on the IPI score points to. Every single one of the 4 points of the IPI score, if you start to look at it and dissect it, all equate to sell-through. Sell-through is the answer to everything on improving your IPI score and improving your restock limits as well. So let's understand how Amazon actually defines sell-through. This is the definition that Amazon gives on their platform. Your FBA rolling 90-day sell-through rate is the number of your units sold and shipped over the past 90 days divided by the average number of units available at fulfillment centers during that time. So what does that actually look like? What that actually looks like is this. You have units shipped and sold and shipped within 90 days, and that's divided by the average number of units that are available at FBA. And that would equal your sell-through rate. So if you had 9,000 units worth of sales in that 90-day period, but you were only holding 3,000 units at any given time, that would be a monthly turnover rate, and your number would be 3. So when you go into your inventory dashboard and you see that number, whether it's 1.5 or 2.1, you now know how they're getting to that number. This is the formula that they're using. Similarly, if you have 9,000 units in sales in that 90 days and you've been holding 9,000 units on average, that's a quarterly turnover, and your sell-through rate is 1. Amazon doesn't necessarily like that, especially now. So they will penalize then give you a lower IPI score if you have that particular issue. So focus on getting that sell-through number to increase, and you will make Amazon pretty happy. Of course, this isn't all the factors that are involved in their restock limits. We have Prime Day, holidays, lack of warehouse space, which is something that I call, the oh no lever. And that's exactly, what it sounds like. And Amazon says, oh no, we don't have enough space, so we're going to simply pull a lever and lower your restock limits. So know what sell-through is, know how sell-through influences restock limits, but also know that there are these variables that are also factored in that we sometimes can't really plan for, which is why the next section I will be talking about is flexibility and how to weather those storms. All right, but moving on to utilization. Utilization is a factor of sell-through, and it's a factor of restock limits. So understanding how utilization is calculated becomes important as well. You've got FBA available inventory. all incoming shipments. So that's working, in transit, receiving, and then unfulfillable inventory. All of those equal your utilization quantity. Amazon has said that removal orders and reserved inventory are not included in utilization, but we and many others have found this not to be true. So just keep in mind that your removal orders and your reserve inventory, as they're processing through and as they get hung up, could potentially be an issue that brings down your utilization and blocks some of your inventory from being checked in. All right, so the relationship between sell-through and utilization. Utilization is essentially that bottom number. Utilization is your average units available. So you see that your sales velocity and your utilization both factor into your sell-through. So those are the two things that you can work to improve your sell-through. All right. Amazon, that said, has no sympathy for your stockouts. So you need to understand that Amazon's algorithm is not built to factor your stockouts in, meaning they don't care that you stocked out. They're not going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say, well, we know that you stocked out, but we know that you could have sold an extra 2,000 units. So we're going to let you keep that extra restock limits. They are not doing that. So if we know that they're not allowing us to, giving us the benefit of the doubt of stockouts and that they're going to penalize us for stockouts, what do you actually have to do when you stock out to make sure that your restock limits don't plummet? There are actually 3 levers that you can pull. So these are 3 important things that if you do find yourself stocking out, you can do to help maintain a healthy restock limit while your inventory is waiting to be checked in. So the first one is switch to fulfilled by merchant. Fulfilled by merchant counts towards your restock limits. Those sales, when you sell through Amazon, even if Amazon is not fulfilling, Amazon will give those credits to you and count those towards your restock limits. So if you stock out and you're waiting for your inventory to check in, but you have extra inventory that you can fulfill outside of Amazon, do that. Turn your FBM, your fulfilled by merchant listing on and take sales that way. That's going to help you, right? Next one is the running excess inventory flash sales. So we talked about having those different reports, right? The liquidation report, the slow seller report, as well as the overstock report. These are essentially assets. You can use inventory. Inventory can either be a liability in that it's costing you a lot of money, storage fees, but it can also be an asset, right? The asset in that you can use excess inventory to boost velocity. And you might even be able to take that excess inventory and revive your product. That's something to keep in mind. That's the beauty of what we call storage type limits versus ASIN type. Earlier on in 2020 and beginning of 2021, Amazon had ASIN type limits. So you were not able to manipulate during your stockouts. You're not able to use your catalog to help boost your restock limits. If you stocked out of a product, then that product was going to have to get into what we call a stock out cycle because you could not use other inventory to boost your limits. Right now you can. So keep in mind that excess inventory is a potential tool to use to boost your limits. And then lastly, using multi-channel fulfillment to bolster sales. Borrow sales velocity from other channels. So Shopify, if you have it, eBay, other channels that allow you to fulfill through Amazon. Walmart is not one of those channels. You'll get yourself into some trouble. So stay away from Walmart being fulfilled through Amazon. That's not a good idea. But let's say Shopify sales. Say you go out of stock with your best seller and you've got a bunch of other products in your catalog that make healthy sales through Shopify. Run those sales through Amazon. And what that will do is those sales will count towards your sell-through and help to increase your restock limits. You can also do manual fulfillment orders. So if there's for some reason you're fulfilling orders through manual fulfillment, such as wholesale orders, when you fulfill those through Amazon, those also count towards your restock limits. All right, so those are 3 levers that you can pull to make sure that you don't you don't shoot yourself in the foot when you stock out. All right, now let's get into logistics flexibility. This is one thing I think needs to be on everyone's list to rework within the new year to ensure that you don't have inventory stockout problems based on supply chain chaos and slows and stops, right? So we have a golden rule that we share, and that is never let anyone have all your stuff. In 2015, we let Amazon have all of our stuff, and they lost it before Christmas and found it after Christmas. It was our own fault because we gave them everything. People are doing the same thing now, putting everything on a boat and hoping, knowing that the ports are going crazy, hoping that your inventory checks in. So what are you supposed to do to prevent that from happening? Now, if something stalls for 2 months, 3 months, it becomes very difficult to pivot off of that. But we have the ability to plan things in a way that mitigates some of that loss, right? If you need a month's worth of buffer, a month and a half's worth of buffer, having a system that is flexible makes all the difference in whether you stock out or not. So this is how I would arrange, and how we do arrange currently our own business. Ordering more inventory than you actually need. Let's say you have a container, you're ordering a container's worth of inventory. Order a little bit more. Order, say, an extra month's worth of inventory. Keep it at your suppliers. Your supplier will sometimes allow you to keep your inventory for a short period of time without charging you fees. So you wouldn't be paying on storage fees potentially. And they also might work out an arrangement where you're only paying for what you ship out. So let's say you ship out a container and they're holding backup air freight inventory just in case you need it. You'll only use air freight inventory if you need it. So you'll be ordering in advance. You'll be creating a larger order than you actually need, paying your deposit, and then you'll pay the 70% or whatever it is, the final payment, only on the ocean freight shipment. So you'll ship out your container and then you'll have inventory on backup just in case anything goes wrong. You can air freight it over. You're only going to take that cost into effect if you need it. So if your ocean freight checks in on time, everything gets there, that's great. Then you don't need to air freight. You'll send the inventory on the next ship and you'll keep this cycle going, right? Then you always want to have a 3PL backup and FBA. And then moving into our local supply chain, right? We want to be treating our 3PL in a similar way to our supplier and creating a system similar to what we have with our ocean and air freight. You would treat your LTL shipments the way that you treat your ocean shipments. And your SPD, your small parcel delivery, would act as your backup, so it's similar to the air freight. You only send that if you need to. So you're keeping inventory at your 3PL and sending your LTL shipment. And then if your LTL is having a hard time checking in, take your 3PL inventory and send it small parcel delivery. And then, of course, have the backup for FBM, fulfilled by merchant. Always have that backup, because if Amazon is taking forever to check your stuff in, then you want to be able to distribute your inventory, continue making sales on Amazon, and have your third-party fulfillment center fulfilling those orders. This is the way that you can organize things so that you're always able to pivot. You're always able to weather any of the chaos that's going on across the supply chain. And then we get to trucking. So talking more about trucking, about LTL, and about shipping into Amazon, you probably have wondered why it takes so long for inventory to check in. I know that I have. There's actually a reason, and that reason has a lot to do with Amazon Freight and the trucking contracts that Amazon has with some trucking companies versus others. So the first and foremost, small parcel delivery is always a good option. It's an expensive option, but it's the most reliable option that there is. So small parcel delivery is a different thing. So what we're mostly talking about here is the trailers. Amazon owns a ton of truck trailers. Those trailers are owned by them, and they also have discount relationships called Amazon Partner Carrier, which you're probably all familiar with and potentially using. The Amazon Partner Carrier is potentially the thing that is causing you problems, right? These relationships. Amazon has these agreements with these companies that they have to drop their trailer and leave. Usually they'll drop their trailer, they'll pick up an empty one, and they'll leave. But what is happening now is there's not enough staffing to empty those trailers. So you've got trailers stacking up. That is why it's taking so long for your inventory to check in. Your stuff is sitting in a trailer in a parking lot somewhere. The difference between that and what some other trucking companies have is some other trucking companies can pull up to the dock and open their doors and unload their stuff right into the warehouse, and then they leave with their trailer. That is a different agreement. So if you can work with the trucking companies that have that particular agreement, your stuff is going to get checked in faster. They may have a later delivery time than the Amazon Partner Carriers, but they would have an earlier check-in time. We only care about what I call net check-in time. It means it doesn't matter when it was delivered. I want to know it's going to be checked in sooner. It could be delivered later, but checked in sooner, and that's what I really care about. And so talking to your 3PLs, your freight forwarding reps, these guys are your best allies. All of this about the trucking industry and how Amazon trucking works, I learned from my 3PL owner. So talking to these guys could save you immensely. Now, this whole structure and Amazon LTL, Partner Carrier LTL, that could change in 3 months. It could be that they iron out all the kinks and that their system is the best and the cheapest. Right now, it's the cheapest often, but the check-in times are very, very slow. So keep talking to your 3PLs, keep talking to your freight forwarding reps. They're the ones that are seeing what's happening, and they'll be able to tell you what is the best to use right now, right? Most of our normal habits is going on to Amazon, creating our shipment, emailing it to our freight forwarder or our 3PL, and calling it a day, and they never get a chance to actually tell us what is actually working. So be in communication and gather insights from them. So yes, so stop using Amazon Partner Carrier, the LTL. It's not very, very reliable or trustworthy. Remember to check in on your 3PL to find out if this changes in 3 months. It's very, very possible that it could. The one factor is that Amazon non-partner carriers are not part of the Amazon shipping network, which means that you may not be able to be reimbursed for shipments that go missing. So you want to make sure that your insurance or your carrier covers the cost of any inventory that may get lost before it lands to Amazon. Something to keep in mind. Last point on this specific topic is log your trailer numbers. This is something that you should call your 3PLs and have your 3PLs do. Amazon can't track your packages when they're in a trailer. They can track trailers. So they have a bunch of trailers sitting there, and you ask about your particular shipment, they have no idea. I'm sure there are people who are listening right now who have done that, where they have tried to track down a lost shipment that's been lost for, say, 5 weeks. It's there, but it's not checked in. Where is it? They don't have the X-ray vision to look through those trailers and find your particular shipment. But if you have a trailer number, every single trailer has a number. They can track trailer numbers, and they can say, oh yeah, it's at XYZ. Sometimes, and most often, it's buried in the yard of your fulfillment center. But in other times, it could be shipped to the wrong location. There was an instance where a shipment was supposed to go to Nevada, went to California instead. California opened up that trailer, said, this is not ours, it's supposed to be in Nevada, closed the trailer doors and pushed it aside. It could have been there indefinitely. But what happened was the 3PL manager called up and said, hey, I'm looking for trailer number XYZ. They looked it up and they said, oh, it's in the wrong state. And they actually were able to override and authorize that inventory to be checked into California, even though it was Nevada inventory. So those are some of the ways that you can start to mitigate some of these these losses, these times where you're stocking out simply because of inefficiencies in Amazon's shipping network. Okay, and finally, I wanted to address, this is the section that we talk about profitability across the supply chain. Some of the things that people don't really understand fully and completely are things like how to read a freight forwarder invoice, knowing exactly how your 3PL charges you, how are you being charged for all these fees along the way. If you don't understand those, you're not alone. Almost none of the sellers fully understand these things, which is why we're on a mission within the next year to educate people on these topics. But some of these things are things that are costing you major money, and little tweaks can help you to recover the profit that you've been atrophying over the past 18 months when we've just really basically been doing anything we can to stay in stock. There's a lot of money that's being wasted across the supply chain for this reason. So I believe in a concept called little hinges move big doors, and little tweaks to what you're doing along the supply chain can mean big money. And I'm going to show you just an example and then give you some ideas of some other places that you can look to recover that profit. Here's an example of an audit that I did on a single product. There are new minimums now. If you haven't noticed this, talk to your freight forwarders. There are minimums that are coming into place where each carton has to be a certain weight. And if it's not that within that certain weight range, it can cost you in fees. If it's overweight, you're going to pay a lot in fees. If it's underweight, you're going to pay a lot in additional fees. So that weight for this particular freight forwarder was 12 kilograms. The cartons that we were shipping were 7.7 kilograms. They were going to charge us as if they were 12. So we were going to be overpaying by over $6,000 a month or $75,000 a year if we continued along that route. So we had to restructure that. We have to get it to the point where the carton is 12 kilograms or more and it's in that sweet spot. The other thing that we did is we looked at the units per carton. And so, of course, to make the carton heavier, we had to increase the units per carton from 24 units per carton to 40 units per carton. What that does is that reduces the amount of units or of cartons in that particular order. So that we were able to reduce fees as well. Every carton that is handled by your 3PL is going to charge you carton pull fees and carton labeling fees. When you look at that, it's $3.60 per carton, for example, right? In this particular example, we were able to reduce the number of cartons. So we were able to reduce the number of fees, the cost of fees by $600 a month. That equates to $7,000 a year. So to add the weight fee savings as well as the units per carton savings is almost $7,000 per month or $82,000 per year. It's a lot of money. And that's only one way that we're looking at in terms of optimizing. Here are some others as well as some tools that you can use to do these calculations to improve your profitability. You can look at your product size. Smart Scout actually has a tool. It's the FBA calculator. And inside of that tool, you can look at what your tiers are. If you say, okay, my product is this size, and then you'll be able to see what you would need to do to reduce the actual size and or weight of that product to get into the lower tier. Some people are restructuring their products. Some people are simply restructuring their packaging to be able to get into lower product tiers. Next would be pallet. On pallet is a valuable tool for this. Make sure that you know that you've got 72 inches. However, there's 6 inches worth of pallet. So you really need to be planning on 66 inches worth of measurements. People mess up on that quite often. And what can happen is that you will send your inventory to your 3PL and they'll have to repalletize it, which costs a lot of money in itself. And then finally, container optimization. peertopeer.com/load calc. That is going to send you to a calculator that allows you to build out containers to optimize those containers. So we're going to be, I believe that Regina is going to be talking about exiting in one of the next segments here. So I wanted to break this down in terms of your exit. So if you have carton optimization at 82,000 per year, that would be on a 5x multiple over $400,000 that you would be regaining in your exit valuation. Pallet optimization, $15,000 a year. Let's say that's $75,000 in exit. If you're able to save on freight costs, $50,000, that's $250,000 on exit. Then stockouts, if you save $40,000 in avoiding stockouts, that's another $200,000 in increase in exit. That's $187,000 in annual profit increase. And beyond that, that's almost $1 million upon exit. Can you afford to lose that amount of money? It's extremely crucial, especially if you're looking to sell within the next 12 to 24 months, to start getting these things in place, start recovering that money, and find not just increased revenue within your business, but then when you sell your business, you should be getting all of that benefit, because these are the things that the aggregators are doing to increase the value of your company immediately. You want to have this money go into your pocket, not into theirs. It's an extremely vital thing to be planning for, and it's all across the supply chain as well as inventory management. So lastly, focusing on flexibility and details will help you to dominate in 2022. This is how the winners are going to win in 2022. And this is part of the business that will help you to scale even better. Lastly, just a little bit about So Stocked, about what we do. We are the first customizable, fully customizable Amazon inventory management software built for sellers by sellers. What that means is not just that I am a seller and that I worked to build the tool, but also we worked with hundreds of sellers inside of the space to build a tool that they really truly find valuable. We also factored in restock limits. We are the first and perhaps only software to factor restock limits into your forecast. We have over 1,000 happy customers. We do free data migration into our software from whatever platform or spreadsheet you have. And we do one-on-one onboarding calls to make sure that you understand not just how the software works, but how it can work within your business. We have customizable forecasting per SKU using restock limits, velocity calculation, trends, sales spikes, stockouts, and the inventory timeline to track everything along the way to make sure that you understand what is going on within your business. And then orders and transfer tracking, customizable dashboards to get all of the data you want and nothing that you don't. And then lastly, PO and transfer creation as well. Here are a couple of things that people have said about us. The most accurate forecasting, getting rid of spreadsheets, solving 99% of your forecasting problems, making more money, and getting your time back. I'm Chelsea Cohen. That's it for me. Thank you guys so much. I look forward to connecting with you guys. Here's some data on how you can connect with me if you have questions. And I'm happy to go ahead and take your questions. I'm sure that some of you may have some.
That was absolutely incredible, Chelsea. Oh my God. I didn't know that there was so much to inventory.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Thanks.
I'm just going to remove your slides here so that we can see you. And guys, let us know if you have any questions. So there was one question from Maz. Any tips to increase storage limits?
To increase storage limits, yeah, just, in terms of what I had said, those things like finding excess inventory that you may have, whether it's on Amazon or off Amazon. And sometimes using off Amazon sales will help, because if you've got inventory that's excess inventory and it's just sitting there and you can't send it in, simply list it as FBM and fulfill it through FBM. That is going to help you in that it's not acting as any part of your utilization, but it's also potentially increasing your sales. So both sides of the equation, of the sell-through equation, are being benefited.
Awesome. Well, guys, check out sostocked.com and check out Chelsea's software as well. And then if you stick with us until the end of this session, we are going to be giving away some prizes. And one of those prizes is 3 months access to So Stocked for free, completely free. So definitely stay until the end and participate in our quiz. But Chelsea, thank you so much for your time today. It was absolutely lovely. Thank you so much for sharing all of the great information, the insights. I'm sure it benefited a lot of people.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
All right, take care. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so let's move on. Now we're going to go to one of our suppliers. We've got a product highlight session, and I've got Hein from Gold Star Cushions. Hi, Hein.
Hi,
How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm great. So, Hein, can you go ahead and tell us about your company and then show us your products as well?
Yes. Hello, everybody. My name is Hin. I'm come from goldenstars.com. Uh, with the 10-year experience about cushion indoor and outdoor, we believe that we can supply for with your wish. We have working. We are working with many buyers on the world like Australia, American, Canada, England. So we believe that like we can we can give your guy with the best ride with the best quality. We I have sample here. You guys can see this is the sample because we are moving from my home, so it's a bit you can see this the back. Uh, the
Yeah, can you move it up a bit in front of the camera? Yeah,
yes,
move the cushion up and move the camera down a bit so that we can see it. Yeah.
yes. So this is the cushion for the sample. You can see we can make like there are so many style of the cushion. You can make the ping ping or no ping ping. If the some style you can make, and about the cushion we have so many style of that. So your guy can choose which the best for you. In the insert the cushion we can make like so many style depend which way you want. And also we can
Keep going, keep going.
yes. Also we can we also we have parent with the make the dog bed for the dog bed. So uh we can make the sun bed also.
Okay, so dog beds. So, do you have a
Sun bed.
sample of the dog bed?
Sorry, no, because I'm sick, so I work at home, so it's hard to moving everything to my home. So I just
Yes.
take a few sample.
Okay, no problem. And what's your MOQ?
What? Sorry,
What is your MOQ?
MQ is about like one 3,000 piece.
3,000 pieces. Okay,
Yes.
awesome. Awesome. Great. Guys, check out Gold Star Cushion. You can see the URL over here on the screen, globalstars.com /goldstarcushion.co. And it's also in the chat wherever you're watching from, YouTube or Facebook. You can click on the link in the chat chat and contact Gold Star Cushion directly. Well, Hein, thank you so much for joining us today. And you take care. Bye bye. Okay, so let's move on to our next supplier, and we've got Qingdao Alpha, who is waiting backstage. Hello.
Hello, I'm Vincent.
Hi, Vincent. How are you today?
Yes, fine, thank you.
Awesome. Vincent, what can you tell us about Qingdao Alpha and also show us your products?
Yes, firstly, give you a brief introduction of our company. Um, Alpha Tech2 has our own factory, which has more than 160 people. Also, we have the sales, merchandising, QC, shipping department, which has more than 30 people. We can give our buyer the most strongest support. Also, we have the design ability and the design team, which can design the print, fabric, embroidery for kids and adults products. We have served the global customer for more than 20 years with an on-time shipment and perfect fabric and product development. We can supply all kinds of home textiles and give the best sourcing merchandising support for to our buyers with perfect quality, competitive price, and cost saving. We our company also has OK tax certificate, and we have the audit the factory. That's all. Thank you. Next, we show you our product. Here is our.
你们把那个镜头直接对着这个，那就行。对着这个镜头看这个床。
能看见是吧
？Here is our comfort set for USA market. It is a three-piece set, including one comforter and two seams. The fabric is a cotton fabric with the printed pattern. It is very fashionable and good touch, soft feeling. It is a very best-selling item in the market. The next product we have is dog bed. It's very popular in the market. We have the good sales and we have do many orders every year. We also get very good feedback from customers. We hope you like. And the next product we did.
那个松紧袖的被子，那个松紧袖的。
As a texture comfort, it's very novelty and appealing design. The fabric is very good. It is cotton percale and jacquard design, also with embroidery. You can the texture floral. I hope you can like. And the next popular product is the cotton jacquard fabric comfort set. This is also three-piece set. We do many kind of designs for your choice. And we recommendation is Lurex, silver Lurex cotton clip jacquard comfort set. Then we also have the many designs for the kids. For the kids, some appealing toys with shower curtain, with shower accessory, and bed mat, bed rug.
So, hey, what kind of products are you looking for? So actually, we supply a lot of a big range of the products, home textile, from bedding to the bedding, including the comforter set, duvet set, sheet set, and decorative pillow, from the bedding to the bath to shower curtain, rug, and also to pets, to the pet bed. So we supply a big range. For shower curtain, we supply the Piva shower curtain, also the fabric shower curtain. So it's a big range, and we are shipping to global customers for more than 20 years. Some of the customer we do direct shipments. So if you tell us what kind of products you are looking for, that would be very helpful for us to recommend the right products to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So everybody watching, if you are interested in comforters, dog beds, they have really nice dog beds and other types of products, definitely get in touch with Qingdao Alpha Textile, and you can see their URL at the bottom of the screen over here. You can also, wherever you're watching, Facebook or YouTube, you can click on the link to their profile in the description and also in the comment section. Get in touch with them and ask them about their products, their prices, the MOQs, really interesting products from the company. And so those are the curtains, right?
Yeah, this is the shower
Shower
curtain.
curtain.
Shower
Shower
curtain.
curtains. Okay.
This is a PIVA shower curtain. PVC PIVA shower curtain, shower liner, waterproof product.
Right.
Yeah, just feel free to contact us, for the customer's requirement, If you tell us what you are looking for, then we will give you a very good recommendation. And we have
Okay.
our own design team, and we have our own factory. We are totally vertical setup for everything.
That's awesome. That sounds great. So, guys, definitely check out Alpha Textile on globalsources.com and send them your inquiries. Thank you so much, Vincent, for joining us today, and we'll see you
Thank
later.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, that was a really good range of comforters and curtains. Let's move on now, and we are going to invite CJ Rosenbaum from Amazon Sellers Lawyers. CJ, good to see you. How are you?
Megala, I am absolutely, utterly exhausted.
Aw.
As I let you know, and I'm not shy about sharing it, one of my kids was in the hospital last couple of days. Finally, the kid is out. I'm happy to be here, and I hope my tech is up to speed right now because I was a little bit late. And the American medical system is awful. But that's
Well,
not what we're talking
we're
about
just
today.
glad that Sam is okay and she's out of hospital, so that's really good. So let's get started, CJ. What have you got prepared for us? Share your screen and let's get started.
All right, let's do the share here. Let me share. Share screen. Here we go. We are getting closer. Share. Oh, almost. So close. Share. Present. Am I shared?
Yes, you are shared, but to go to full, yes, it worked. You did it.
Yes. All right. So what I'm going to be talking today about, and some sellers you're going to agree with me, others you're going to disagree with me. But I polled my whole team here. We're like 25 people strong now about how you can prepare for post-COVID success and not just getting to Hong Kong, so you can really feel those blankets and pillows yourself. But as an Amazon-based business, what is it you should be doing now to prepare for success after this crazy pandemic? So that's what I want to talk about tonight. Should I jump right in? Should I go?
Yes, go.
All right.
All yours.
So here's the overview, and I tend to talk really, really fast. So if you need me to slow down, let me know. We're going to be talking about whether you should sell now if you have your own brand, because I believe there's a bubble. So do you want to sell your brand now, or do you want to stay put? I'm going to be talking about a litigation update, when you should absolutely stay out of court, and also when you should consider going to court. And also, we are seeing a huge uptick in the number of lawsuits filed against individual sellers, and also a huge uptick in the number of lawsuits where you'll have like one brand that sues dozens or even hundreds of sellers at the same time. The record we see so far is 869 sellers were sued all at once. I'm going to be talking to you about getting your money and your inventory back from Amazon. As you heard Chelsea talk, there are huge problems with Amazon logging in your inventory. And as the log jam has increased, the numbers of mistakes at Amazon has increased. The amount of shoplifting over at Amazon has increased. So how do you get your money and inventory back to make sure you're successful? Because if you don't get your money and inventory, you can't succeed. Many of you sellers have developed your own brands, so we're going to be talking a little bit about brand protection. Protect what you've built. Make sure other people aren't stealing your sales or harming your consumers. We'll be talking a little bit about diversity and diversification of sourcing, product line, where you're selling. The latest, of course, in plans of action and IP complaints, about 40% of my awesome team's work is writing plans of action for Amazon sellers when your listing gets knocked down or your account goes down. And also, there's a lot of new stuff going on in terms of the shelf space, which Chelsea talked about, and also Amazon making phone calls to you and verbal plans of action with Amazon staff. So, first topic is about whether you should sell, like get money from Thrasio and SellerX and forum brands, or whether you should stay put. And I just want to go, it's a little bit of an entrepreneur's history lesson. Okay, so the flowers, back in the 1600s, there was a Dutch tulip bubble where the price of tulips went up 20x, not like just Grant Cardone 10x your life, but the tulips went up 20 times their value. And the next year, they dropped 99%. Then you get to like the roaring 20s in the United States, right? The jazz, the drinking, pre-war, the expanded use of debt. The Federal Reserve was established. Consumer credit like exploded. And then it was a huge crash. Black Thursday, when people were like jumping out of buildings. Back in the late 90s, you had the dot-com bubble, okay? Boo.com, 135 million. Pets.com, Floors, Broadcast, which is where Mark Cuban made his money before that domain doesn't even exist anymore. Cosmo, Excite. There was a huge dot-com bubble. Then, you know, those of you who are a little bit younger, the first bubble you might remember is the mortgage bubble. There was a big movie made about it called The Big Short, how they were chopping up mortgages and the value of real estate just exploded and exploded and people were buying and flipping, and then it collapsed, okay? And then, I know this is a bit long-winded, then you get to today, right? And you have the rise of the Amazon aggregators. And that's a real t-shirt, okay? That you refer a seller to one of the aggregators and they're going to give you a free Tesla. So I believe it is a huge bubble and I'm really afraid that it's going to burst. So here's the history of the value of an Amazon-based business or an Amazon-based brand. And you can look at like Empire Flippers. They've been in the business for a really long time. They're really reputable people. They've spoken at global sources, I think back in 2017, 2018. And the value of your business or your brand has historically been less than the value of a brick and mortar business because Amazon can shut you down. They can suspend your best listing. They can lose your inventory. There's a lack of control. So the value was always historically less than a brick and mortar business because you don't really own much, right? So for years, it was always 2 to 2.5 times your annual net. And if you were getting that money, you were doing really well. Well, 2019, 2020, the aggregators are coming in. There's boatloads of money. You got the pandemic. Your sales are skyrocketing. Typical retail is like getting slaughtered. They're getting shut down all over the country. So the value of your Amazon-based brand went up a lot, where instead of 2 to 2.5, it's now 2.5 to 4 times your annual net. Now, your sales are the same. Your margins are the same. Your ROI is the same. But because there's more and more money in the marketplace, the value goes up. Now we get into this crazy year. And this is really over the last few months that we are seeing deals at up to like 6.5% your annual net. There's so much competition to buy your Amazon-based brand that it has literally like tripled in value with the same fundamentals. And I want to take a moment to stop and just address something I didn't put in the slide. We represent Amazon businesses who are selling. And if you're selling a business, here's the goal of the lawyer to cover your behind. Get your money, okay? And then limit your risk, all right? And we've heard of some lawyers charging like $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 to represent you as a seller, and it's ludicrous. I had an Amazon, this guy who's been in our business for a while, call me up that he wanted to work with us. And he told me he was billing the people selling the businesses up to $25,000. And I thought that was absolutely a huge ripoff. Okay. But anyway, get back on topic. So there's this huge, huge bubble. The value has practically tripled. Now, while the value has been going higher and higher and higher, you're facing issues with your factories because there are plenty of factories in China that don't have staff because of the pandemic, so there's less production. You have tremendous supply chain problems all over the world. If your packaging is being made in Vietnam, for example, and they can't get the ink because they can't get the ink from India, all of a sudden you can't get your packaging and the whole supply chain falls apart. The shipping costs have practically doubled. To get a container of goods from Asia to California, the price has almost doubled. Then it gets there and it's sitting out in the ocean. And there are tons of disputes going on right now because the shipping companies think you should pay for it, but your contract says your costs don't start until they get onto the land. So who's absorbing those costs? And then with this whole limited bandwidth thing, you have the risk. Amazon is stepping up the game and absorbing bandwidth. Walmart is buying shipping. Costco, they're absorbing the limited ability to get goods into the United States. So this hasn't yet affected the value of your business in terms of what the aggregators are paying. But eventually, listen, I am an eternal optimist. Okay. I always see the glass as half full, always. But I got to recognize and tell you that eventually the house of cards, it may tumble. So my advice, okay, is to sell your Amazon-based brand, sit out of the game for a couple of years. The non-competes are relatively short. You're looking at like 1 to 3 years. I advise you to sell. Okay. You can always rebuild later. And they say, like, in your 20s, you know everything. And your 30s, you realize you may not know so much. And in your 40s, you're like, I don't know shit. Sorry, Megla. In the 50s, you're like, yeah, I really don't know anything at all. But I would suggest that you really seriously consider selling your Amazon-based brand because the value is really high and the risks have really never before been present. And which leads me to the freebie that we're going to give anybody and everybody attending this summit. If you email me, this is our first on-demand course, and it's all about how to add more value to your Amazon-based business. And so it's our first launch. If you email me, I'll send you it for free. It has like a 7-day access. So that's our freebie for the course. And I really think that if you have an Amazon-based brand, if you have people sniffing around to buy, get out before the bubble bursts. Okay. You might be profitable, but the value of the business is likely to go down. I would say over the next, 3 to 6 months, it's got to. Some of the aggregators are already having some issues. All right. Next topic to succeed in a post-pandemic environment really follows the maturation of the Amazon-based business. Okay. Now, the third-party system has only existed now for, 10, 15 years. It exploded tremendously. And as that has occurred, you folks as business people and your businesses have matured. We're private label to full-fledged brand, owning intellectual property rights, protecting yourself, brands getting upset with you because they're kind of trying to protect their territory. So litigation has become a fact of life for Amazon sellers. You can't get around it anymore. It really is there. So when should you sue? Okay. Well, you should not sue unless the litigation is likely to provide you with a significant profit on the costs and the time of the litigation. No lawyer, anybody should ever rush you into court without first doing the math. Chelsea was talking about algorithms to calculate your inventory, how to make sure you maintain your shelf space. All those things that business owners do to calculate your math, you absolutely have to apply to litigation as well. If it's not calculated under the 3 to 5x rule, never pursue the litigation. Okay. What is the 3 to 5x rule? The cost of your litigation, if you win, that's a big if sometimes, should result in at least 3 times to 5 times your cost of the litigation itself. All right. Now, there are other reasons why you might want to go to court. We're representing an Amazon seller right now that sources products from brick and mortar pharmacies and they sell genuine health and beauty products. And they had this brand just pounding them with complaint after complaint after complaint. The initial evaluation was, okay, if we win, are we going to recover 3 to 5 times your cost? And the answer was yes, because they were losing a boatload of money. The side benefit that we have, and now other sellers are considering this, is that as soon as we stood up and started that lawsuit, the complaints stopped. None of their listings have been suspended from IP complaints, and their account, we got it back up, and it's never gone down again. So I certainly wouldn't start a lawsuit solely to stop people from making complaints, but I can tell you it works. When you stand up and all of a sudden they got to pay lawyers, they're on the defensive, you know, it does have a very, very strong effect that you're willing to stand up and not take that kind of stuff from a brand, a competitor, anybody, okay, that you will fight back hard. It does stop the complaints. All right. The next stage of litigation that you're going to face in a post-COVID world, and it's already geared up tremendously, is Amazon sellers getting sued by brands and also by the brand's authorized brand protection entities. So how does that all work? So what happens is you get a brand like Peanuts, you know, like Charlie Brown and Snoopy and all that kind of stuff. They start lawsuits, and they almost always start the lawsuit in the Northern District of Illinois. That is the federal courthouse in Chicago. They sue you in secret. They go back to the same judge in secret and convince the judge that unless the judge freezes all of your assets and your entire business, the world is going to stop spinning on its axis and Snoopy will never recover, right? And the judges in this particular courthouse issue more temporary restraining orders than all of the other courthouses in the entire country when it comes to Amazon sellers combined. It is absolutely crazy how easy these judges are at freezing your businesses and freezing your accounts. It really boils down to it, and I'm not shy, even in front of judges, okay, that this has turned into legalized extortion. So if this happens to you, what they're going to try and do is say, okay, we froze $20,000 of your money. We froze $50,000 of your money. We want half of it, and then we'll release you, even if your sales of the Snoopy products are like nothing, right? Don't do it. Tell them, no way, I'm not doing it, and stand tall. Don't allow yourself to be extorted, and they bow down. So what we're doing on these cases is, as soon as we are hired, we are bringing 2 motions to the court, 2 of them. One, to dismiss the entire case, okay? Your case has no merit. The court has no jurisdiction, because if you didn't sell products into the state of Illinois, if you don't live in Illinois, you don't own property in Illinois, the judges in Illinois don't have power over you, and you can get the whole case dismissed if the court lacks jurisdiction. Also, we go to the court, we say, you know what, dissolve the temporary restraining order. Under the law of the United States, a temporary restraining order issued after one side talks to the court is what the court calls the most draconian thing it could do before anything has been proven against you. So we asked the court immediately, take away that draconian imposition and also dismiss the case. Because you know what, Judge? I don't care what they claimed. You don't have jurisdiction over our client. And this is the modern age of retail on Amazon. If you're not in litigation now, if you're selling another brand's products, chances are you're going to get there. Okay, next thing to succeed is getting your money back from Amazon, getting your inventory. So Jeff has boatloads of money. I put a picture of his rocket ship. I kind of like that he made it phallic in a way. I find that Jeff has the biggest rocket in the world. And also you have the Lufthansa heist. If any of you have seen Goodfellas, Bernie Madoff, the Dunbar on robbery. This good-looking bald guy is the broker in Hong Kong who lost like $2 billion. And I got to tell you that I don't think any of these guys, any of these heists hold a candle to the amount of money and the amount of inventory that Amazon takes that you own, that you paid for, that you send to Amazon. I used to keep a running tab next to my desk, and I was up to like the tens of millions of dollars within like a month. You know, they keep your $7,500 because they hit you with an inauthentic, but you have other accounts. They lost $10,000 worth of inventory. You sent in a few pallets of Apple, what are they called? AirPods, right? And they disappeared. I guess about 2 months ago, we got a call from an Amazon employee, a former Amazon employee, and he was all pissed off that he got fired. And so we're talking to him about, can we help him with the claims against Amazon? I don't remember if it was age discrimination or sexual harassment. But as we're talking, they start talking about how there was a feeding frenzy before Christmas last year. A pallet of AirPods came in, and the staff was stealing the AirPods, and they were finding empty boxes in the bathrooms. They were passing them out of the smoking yard through the fence, right? So a lot of times you'll ship your goods to Amazon, and Amazon's own staff is stealing the inventory, and then Amazon protects the inventory it owns in an entirely different fashion than the inventory that you sent in. So what am I getting at? So you have lost inventory. You have this nonsense of disposed inventory, as if Amazon is throwing anything out. You have Amazon claiming that you mislabeled your pallets, right? That you didn't put it on all the sides and on top. And you have the theft right over at Amazon. And what do? Like, how can you make a profit? How can you succeed in a post-COVID environment where the competition is greater than ever, where your margins are smaller than ever, where you're not even getting the shelf space that you need? Well, you got to get it back. And if your cases fail, if your plans of action fail, if the refund companies can't recover the money for you, you take Amazon to arbitration. That's your dispute resolution system as an Amazon seller. And as long as it is less than $1 million that they owe you, it's a pretty good system. So how does it work? The first thing we always do before getting right into the trenches is we draft what we call a pre-arbitration demand. And it really is a letter to Amazon's outside counsel explaining why Amazon owes you $50,000, $25,000, $300,000. We've resolved cases up to just under $1 million by just pointing out why Amazon owes you the money, owes you the inventory. And by doing that, you're taking the issues out of Amazon staff in India, out of the hands of people in Ireland, out of their staff's hands in Costa Rica, and you're putting it right in their legal department in Seattle and their lawyers' hands in Seattle. And it's a whole different kettle of fish where they really do an Amazon deep dive. They really do this stuff to figure out whether they should release the money to you, whether they owe you inventory. And a lot of these cases resolve. The cases that you don't resolve before getting into the fight, you file a demand for arbitration. It really is just a document spelling out why Amazon owes you the money, why Amazon owes you the inventory, and you file it with the American Arbitration Association. If the amount that Amazon has stolen from you is $50,000 or less, you could take advantage of the expedited process, which means you're going to be in and out within 90 days. You're entitled to a hearing within 30 days of the arbitrator being appointed. And it's a really great system to get your money back. If it is over $50,000 by enough of an amount that it's worth going non-expedited, then you go non-expedited. But it really should be more like 75, 95, or over 100 because the costs and the time are more. If you have to go after Amazon because it stole $150,000 of your inventory, you can do that. But instead of paying a flat fee for the arbitrator, $600 each side, you're going to get stuck paying the arbitrator an hourly rate. Most of them are anywhere from $400 to $600 an hour. You split that with Amazon, but there's no cap. So it takes longer, it costs more, but you really don't have any choice. That is the mechanism to get your $200,000 that it refuses to release to you, to get it back from Amazon. I mentioned before that if it's under $1 million, it's a great system. If it's over $1 million, it's awful. And I'll tell you why that is. Under the rules of the American Arbitration Association, either side, meaning either you or Amazon, if you're claiming over $1 million, you can insist on a panel of 3 arbitrators, right? You're thinking, okay, 3 arbitrators, it's going to triple my cost, but I'm sharing that with Amazon. Well, it doesn't just triple your cost. It actually quintuples your cost, because not only are you paying each of these arbitrators to listen to every part of the case, you also pay these guys to talk with each other. So the cost really skyrocket. And that's where Amazon sellers kind of get screwed. If it's over $1 million, you would be way better going to court, because when you go to court, there's one judge and he's paid by the government, not by you. But it is what it is. So whatever it is, whether it's expedited or non-expedited, the next step is an arbitrator selection process. You get a list of names, you do your research. If you do this yourself, we've got a whole database of all the different arbitrators we've been in front of, which ones were sympathetic to Amazon sellers, which ones just seemed like they were in bed with Amazon, and a whole lot in between. You exclude a couple if you have good grounds, then you number which ones you want in the order. Amazon does the same thing. When there's a match, that's your arbitrator. The discovery process in arbitration is where both sides have to share information. In the expedited process, the discovery is pretty minimal, but you can always finagle information that you need. If it's non-expedited, it could be full-blown with depositions and experts and documents and interrogatories. It does become almost identical to going to court. Eventually, you will have a couple of conferences with the arbitrator, and then you will get your hearing. And the hearings are really cool because the rules of evidence in court exist, but they're not really applied. So you can get away with a lot of stuff in an arbitration that you would never, ever get away with, in a real courtroom. And then eventually the arbitrator says, thank you very much. You both do your closing argument. You're all done. And you get a decision. If it's expedited, you're going to get that decision literally within 2 weeks of that hearing. If it's non-expedited, it takes a little bit longer, still way faster than court. And so I guess the point of this section of the talk is that if you want to succeed post-COVID, you can't let Jeff or Jassy steal your money or steal your inventory. You got to try and recover it, because the ROIs are just so much tighter and your returns are so much tighter. All right. Next thing I want to get into is people with private label brands. I don't even like using that term. It's a brand. Okay. I don't care if it's your first shipment, your first pallet, you're selling the small packages that you're getting in. It is your brand. And if you want to succeed, you got to protect your sales. You have to monitor your listings. You have to create something that takes your product outside the first sale doctrine. You have to stop everybody else from selling your product. You have to protect your brand. You need to protect your consumers. All right. Consumers have a lot of choices nowadays. And if you have landed a consumer to buy your product, the last thing you want them to have is a poor experience, because they're getting your product from somebody else. Even if they're drop shipping it from you, you want to make sure you're protecting those consumers as much as possible. So this is a slide that my partner, Rob Siegel, who's a remarkable lawyer, that he developed. He doesn't know I'm using it. He'd be probably pretty pissed off if he knew I was, but whatever. Age has its privileges. So this is what we do for brand protection. We saw what like Red Points and Voorhees and E-Enforce, and what these awful companies and firms were doing is that they just make like buckshot complaints against Amazon sellers. And we thought it was really a terrible thing to do, because they put a lot of people needlessly out of business. So this is the process that we use. I'm happy to share it with you guys, because you can do a lot of this stuff yourself. First, you want to make sure that you have your data, you have your listings in order, you have your ASINs, you have an organized way of monitoring it. We use software and people. We try and mimic what works at Amazon. But if you are a smaller brand and you only have 5 or 10 or 15 listings, you don't need to get fancy and crazy. You just need to check your ASINs, check your listings. Okay. Now, you find someone who's selling your products, send them a cease and desist letter. Right? You could do it through your brand registry dashboard saying, you got to stop selling our products because you can't honor our warranty. You can't deliver the copyright material that we add to it. You can't do the same quality control that we're doing or the post-sale services that we're doing, and spell it out to your fellow seller why they have to stop. If you want a killer sample, look at Jack Daniels' cease and desist letter. It's absolutely killer. You then want to make sure that you can identify who you're contacting. Okay, so basically about a year ago, 18 months ago, when Amazon started revealing all of your identities and all of your addresses, you're protecting your brand. You want to use that material and reach out to them where they live, reach out to them where they work to let them know that you know who they are. And those are the same things that law enforcement actually use. But I'm not telling you to get the police involved. The next step in protecting your brand, you need the order numbers from doing test buys. So we actually now have a whole warehouse system down the hall, okay, where we do our test buys. And you want to get the products, you want to get the number, and you also want to see where they're getting your products from, and you want to get better control over your distribution chain. Through your brand registry dashboard, you can report up to 100 ASINs and 100 hijackers to stop them if you need to. And I want to make sure that if you want to be successful, that this is what you do. Don't make any bullshit complaints. If they're not selling counterfeit products, don't accuse them of it. You're opening yourself up to liability. It's needlessly putting their whole business at risk. Build something into your product that gives you legitimate reasons to knock them out, and do it legitimately. Okay, don't make false counterfeit complaints. It is bad business, bad for you, bad for the ecosystem, and eventually Amazon will ignore the complaints that you're making. So this is how we do brand protection for sellers all over the United States and a lot of international brands as well. All right, next tip. I don't have my clock going. I hope I'm not going over. I'm not going too fast or too slow. But diversification is the key to longevity in business. So while Amazon is still the giant elephant in the room compared to everybody else, you want to diversify your marketplaces. It adds value to your account. It protects you in the long haul. So get your products on eBay, get your products on Walmart. If they fit into Etsy, get them on all the different platforms. You diversify. Now, we are seeing through the news on a practical daily basis the problems of getting goods from China into the United States and other places. So you really should diversify where you're getting your products from. Okay, you don't want to have all your eggs in one basket. So look at India. Okay, look at indiasourcingtrip.net. Okay, look at having products made in Vietnam. Now, huge new problem. The products get made. You're actually getting your bandwidth. You're getting them shipped over here. You're paying twice the rate for your container. They get to the shores of Long Beach, right? And oh my God, you can't get them into the country, right? There are tons of ships. And I monitor this news, and I probably personally talk to anywhere from 20 to 100 different brand owners every single week. One, because I love doing this and I work 7 days a week. I find it fascinating. So the problem they're having is so many wrinkles to it. So you get it manufactured, you get it shipped over, you can't get it onto the land, right? So then you get your products, they get the container off the ship and they're at the port. Well, now they have a problem because they're not allowing them to stack the containers high enough. Then you got the containers, right? Then there's not enough guys to get the containers onto the trucks. Then there's not enough trucks. Then there's not enough truck drivers. Then the ones that actually get there's no one to unload the damn things that Chelsea was talking about. So there are multiple layers of problems that you are facing post-COVID. So one of the things you can do is, why don't you look for goods that are already in North America? Okay. I don't believe Canada has a big manufacturing source, but there's a ton of stuff being made in Mexico. And also, what is old is new again. There are tons of manufacturers right here in the United States that you may want to look at. Your cost, yeah, okay, your cost is going to be through the roof compared to the factories in China. Our labor just costs more money. Our real estate costs more money. But for the time being, in the post-COVID world, maybe you want to diversify a bit and get some of your goods that are already here because they're made here in the United States. So diversify your sales channels and your platforms, diversify your source of goods, and also you want to diversify your shipping issues by maybe taking some of your products and getting them made right here in the United States. All right, so many of you know me and my insanely awesome team of people for the plans of action that we write for Amazon sellers: listing suspensions, account suspensions, used, sold as new, inauthentic, high ODR, tracking number issues, shelf space. We're doing plans of action for. So here's the theme: documents, 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 and more documents. At this time of year, Amazon always seems to dump more resources into the people that are reading your plans of action, but their time is still limited. When I went with Megla to India, I did a side trip to Hyderabad. It was a remarkable trip. It was a remarkable. Delhi was insane to see. The quality of products was insane. And just going by myself to Hyderabad, I went there and I interviewed dozens of Amazon staff. Amazon did not give me the okay, but I did it anyway. And their time is limited. They're looking for concise, persuasive plans of action that is supported by documents. So it's old is new again. What is new is that Amazon is also calling you and asking you to give them verbal plans of action. So what we're hearing from the thousands of sellers is that they're getting phone calls, and Amazon staff on the phone is like, okay, what's your root cause here? Right now, every plan of action, if you don't know this already, you got your root cause, like, why is Amazon having an issue with you? Why is the consumer having an issue with you? Number two, your immediate corrective action. And then the third section is like, what are you going to do to fix this? How are we not going to have a problem with you? And it's either long-term changes to your business or systemic changes to your business. Every single plan of action, same format, but now they're asking verbally. So have this ready. For this phone call, and they call you, they'll tell you that if you're not ready for the call, they can call you back. But be prepared. What is the root cause? Why would a consumer think your product is used? Well, maybe another consumer bought it and it was returned back to Amazon and their staff just isn't equipped to get rid of the inventory. Maybe your packaging was last year's, whatever it is, but be prepared to know what the root cause of the problem is so you can verbalize it as they call you. If this increases to the point where my plan of action business goes down and now we're just helping you build your brands, that would be great. If you can get your listings back, your accounts back with a phone call, that would be fantastic because it's fast. Be prepared to tell them verbally that as soon as you knew there was a problem, you refunded the money, you told them to keep the product, you sent them another one, whatever it was. However you kissed the golden ring, do it. And also be prepared with specifics during that phone call as to what changes you made to your business, who you hired with a name and a date, so Amazon staff can rest assured that it's not going to have the same problem with you a week from now. And you really got to follow through. So that's probably the post-COVID breaking news update for plans of action. Be ready to do it verbally on the telephone with Amazon staff. So those are the things I want to talk to you about of what I believe, from our perspective, we help thousands and thousands of sellers every single year with plans of action, listing suspensions, account suspensions, intellectual property issues. And I polled my team. I said, all right, what do you guys want to tell sellers to be prepared for post-COVID success? And that was the list. So if you guys have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer anything that I can. And I'm also not shy about, if you ask me a question, I don't know the answer. I think that's why people trust, me and my team so well, because we'll only give you advice if we know it. And if we don't, we'll try and steer you in the right direction. So that is my slide. Megla, that's what I have to say for Amazon sellers on a post-COVID world. And I'll just add to it, I got to get back on planes, okay? My wife's ready to throw me the F out. I'm home too much.
Can't wait to meet you again. And that trip to India was amazing. All of the detective work that you did in Hyderabad outside of Amazon offices, that's super cool. Okay, guys, let us know if you have any questions for CJ. That was a lot of information about what's really going on with Amazon nowadays. And CJ, I was really surprised. I mean, not very surprised. It was kind of expected, but the bubble that you talked about, all of these Amazon aggregators, um, there's so much money being pumped into the space, and this bubble is just waiting to explode. That's the sort of feeling that I have too. But I was quite surprised that you said within 3 to 6 months. I mean, do you really think it might happen that early?
I got to tell you, I'm really fearful. So every lawyer, right? You get a contract, and the lawyer's got to do something to earn his fee. Even just representing someone, you just want to get their money and get out. I am now formally and in writing, verbally and in writing, telling the Amazon brand owners that contact us that the longer we take, the greater the risk that the bubble bursts while they still have a contract. Okay, because can I fine tune 30 paragraphs to make them just a little bit tighter for the Amazon seller, make sure their earnout is a little bit better, they have control over the marketing efforts so they can hit their numbers? Yes, but I don't want to slow down the deal. So every revision, you're losing anywhere I say every single revision to the contract, you're going to lose 2 to 4 days, right? So if the contract goes back and forth 4 times, you've now lost like 20 to 30 days. And I don't know when the bubble is going to burst. And if you look at, and I'm a big fan of Thrasio, okay? I think they've done remarkable stuff. They've done great deals. They've raised the value. But there was some concerning news about a month ago where there were some departures, right? They put the brakes on, and then somehow with all the instability, they got infused with even more money. That's kind of out there, right? So
Exactly.
now you also have, I think there's up to 112 different aggregators out there, right? Listen, you guys are tremendous business people, but you didn't do anything to make your business 3 times as valuable with the same fundamentals. So yeah, I think the bubble's going to burst. It's going to pop. Who knows when?
Right. Okay, so CJ, looks like there's no questions. Thank you so much for your time today, and really good to see you again, and hope to see you in person soon, probably next year in Hong Kong, in India. Let's see where. But thank you so much for joining us.
All right. Thank you for having me, Megla. Awesome to see
All
you.
right. Take care. Bye. Okay, so let's move on. We have 2 suppliers waiting backstage from Vietnam. First of all, we have Thai Son SP Company Limited, and we have Sim joining us. Hi, Sim. How are you doing?
Hi, McLeod. Good morning. I'm good. Thank you.
Good morning. All right, so go ahead, Sim. Tell us about your company and your products.
Thank you, McLeod. Good morning from Tyson Cut and Sew Knitwear Factory in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. Tyson provides full package cut and sew knitwear with FOB and CF and DDP term. Tyson produces 50 tons of fabric in-house to serve its own internal need, including fabric from recycled cotton, Nescafe coconut, and soybean. Tyson's garment capacity is 250,000 pieces per month, and we are SAA 1000 and BSCI certified. Tyson provide pack service from pattern and tech pack, stamping, 3D fitting, bulk production with certificate of origin from CPTPP, EV, UKV, EAU to save import duty for customers. I'm proud to have a merchandise team who is proactive and communicative. a factory who provide good quality products, a diversified customer base from US, Canada, Russia, UK, Australia. We thrive for long-term and win-win business. My name is Sim. I would like to introduce you our product status. So this first group is moisturized cotton and organic cotton. This is moisturized cotton. We can do 500 pieces per print artwork and 3,000 pieces per color. And for organic cotton, it's a new niche market for high-end promotion and marketing. When the customer can say environment-friendly aspect with their marketing campaign, and also a bit diversified on niche structure. Magla, can you hear me, Magla?
Yes, we can hear you. We can see you. All good. It looks super awesome. Please keep going.
So I'm going to the second group. They are from Australian merino wool. We can do from jacket to base layer and underwear. So we know Australian merino wool could be comfortable, self-adjustable to weather, and antibacterial. So about 20 years ago, as a Vietnamese, my first time to go skiing, I thought that it must be thick to be warm, but in fact with merino wool, it could be thin and still warm. The next group will be bamboo and organic cotton. Bamboo mixed with organic cotton to be ecological friendly, and also model spandex. We use it to produce loungewear, yoga, and sleepwear. This is for yoga. You can find, I'm sorry, CJ, you can find it on Amazon. The customers doing it on Amazon. Loungewear, this loungewear line is to Australia. And this is sleepwear or loungewear and pajama. Next group, please. And our capacity is, even though it's 250,000 pieces a month, we do about 2.6 million pieces of sportswear. We have 50 flat lock machines. We are fluent in holographic. Basically, we are fluent in sourcing in China for holographic. All kinds of new development China has on accessory, and fabric can be sourced either from China or from Vietnam. Next group, please. This next group is for reversible, for traveling, the people who would like to travel light. For example, this very one, it's a tank top, and you can see, like, we can wear it with outside like this, or we can reverse, pull it inside out, and it would be black like this. Same as for this t-shirt, the dress, how we call this, shorts, and the leggings, as well as this piece. It is really also reversible. We sold it directly to CK Calvin Klein Performance a few years back. And this is dress, and this is also reversible. So reversible basically is the new product line that we would like to introduce for people who like to travel light and still be colorful, different in their photos when they put it on social media. Next group, please. And next group is we have no topic for this capsule. We just would like to present this group in order to show Tyson's embellishment ability in embroidery. I'm sorry, we don't have any embroidery. Print stone, rhinestone in pattern and in big size, and AOP. This print basically sells very well. We have various modified version of this print. ITY eyelets. Yeah, so this is basically, we would like to present to you the embellishment ability. the next group is for stripe and crinkle. Even though, yeah, for if you can see the dress that Trang is showing, sorry, the skirt that Trang is showing, basically it's a very long engineer repeats. Basically, we could do as long as the customer wants. For this, they are just this. I think this is also engineer stripe. This is feeder stripe with a bit of technical technique inside. And for this group, you can see the crinkle. We do stripe and crinkle together. At the back of the fabric, we use polyester wrapping around spandex yarn. And this dress, basically, we sold to many different customers in different countries. As next group, please. As I mentioned before, after a few crises, we focus on diversify our customer base. So we have from US, Canada, Russia, UK, Australia. This group, this group we call Chaka Diamond because the Chaka is very little, small, and plus we have a bit of quilt inside. Usually Chaka is the strength of China, but we could beat China on to get this order to Vietnam is because all of this fabric is made in Vietnam with kind of machine that now only available in Vietnam. This is not digital Chaka. I know you can see a we have to say bike jacket. Next group, please. Okay. Plus, also we can beat China on this because of certificate of origin issue. How many seconds I have? For CO, I mentioned before that because I produce 50 tons of fabric monthly in-house, this also support us to be able to provide certificate of origin from CP, TPP, which is the hardest, EV CO, UKV CO, and EAU CO in order to save import duty for customers. And I would like to present the last capsule. We did this for a very a brand that the owner is a mother, and she is a great woman. So this is post-maternity. This is maternity and post-maternity style. I'm sorry, she's not pregnant though, but for breastfeeding we can pull up the flap. Thank you so much. I'm so proud of my team. I'm so proud of my factory, and this is my sample room manager. Thank you. My presentation is done.
Thank you so much, Sim. That was an amazing presentation. Really well done. Congratulations. Yes, a very good presentation of your products and really good products as well. What kind of MOQs do you have for your products?
MOQ depends on the fabric, but usually we say 1,000 pieces per style. In one style, the customer may have 2 or 3 colors. But however, if customer would like 1,000 in 2 or 3 colors, I would expect the customer to order a whole collection in order to cover a fabric MOQ.
Okay, fantastic. Well, everyone watching, check out Thyson for sure. You can see their website URL at the bottom of your screen over here. And it's also posted in the comment section wherever you're watching, Facebook, YouTube, or even LinkedIn. Check out the description. Check out their products. Really innovative, interesting products, and they look like a really awesome company to work with. Well, thank you so much for your time today, and we'll see you around.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Megla. Have a great day today. Thank you. Goodbye.
You too. Bye. Wow, that was an awesome presentation. Now we've got one more supplier to go, and then we are going to be calling in Regina to talk about exiting. So I have with me Mr. Dave from WL Fabric. Hi, Dave. How are you doing today?
Hi, Meglan. How are you? I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm having so much fun seeing all of these awesome products and suppliers and getting all of this information. So I have your slides with me. Do you want me to go ahead and share the slides, or do you want to first give a brief introduction of your company?
How about I do an introduction first, and please help me
Okay.
share the slide.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, hi. Nice to meet you all. Greeting, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dave from Vietnam. I'm glad to meet you all today. Thank you, Global Sources, for providing this opportunity. I would like to introduce you about Vietnam and Well Fabric. Well Fabric is a division of a Balan textile company in Vietnam. Balan Textile is the first sustainable textile in Vietnam that focuses in sustainable textile and innovative textile. We started in year 2011. Our capacity is 500 ton with 200 ton in-house and 300 ton outsourced. Our mission is to make innovative, sustainable textile available and accessible to everyone. So for that mission, we're doing our best to research and making new sample all the time. We currently have 2 projects running with the University of Technology in Vietnam. One is to do with banana yarn. Another one is to do with mushroom textile. And also, we want to keep our fabric accessible to our clients. So we kept making our fabric ready stocks for customer to buy for sampling and small amount. Um, but there's a downside because we keep in ready stock. We can't keep a lot of color. We only keep in black and white. And we group our fabric into 3 groups. One is bio fabric, second is recycled fabric, and third is functional fabrics. For bio fabric, we have fabric like organic cotton, bamboo, tencel, modal, and then mix. And for recycled fabric, we have recycled poly, recycled cotton, and also recycled mix. And for functional fabrics, we lately have a fabrics that we developed is antiviral fabrics, which we tested in Ver Health in France that have 99.5% antiviral, and we tested it for COVID virus. So it's antiviral and anti-COVID. We also have mosquito repellent fabrics and then anti-UV fabrics. So our company mainly focuses on innovation. We want to make sustainable fabric fun and not just only to do about, feeling that is boring. I feel a lot of more normally sustainable fabric or eco fabric is only jersey, knitting jersey, rib or cotton, organic cotton. But what we do is we mix them together. We mix organic cotton with bamboo to bring out the goodness of the two. And also in recycled fabric, we have recycled fabric, recycled cotton mixed with another recycled poly, and then we dye 2 parts, so 2 phase. One side is one color, the other side is slightly darker or lighter color. So it's keep the customer more used to the fabric and make it more fun. Okay. May you help me share the slide?
Yes, here we go.
Yes.
So,
Hi. Thank you. So this is our e-catalog. So customer can download online. These are some of the information and our story about where we start. But can you scroll down into this is our capacity. We have woven knitting fabrics. We produce in-house and also outsource. And also, can you scroll down into the products? Thank you. So these are the bamboo fabrics. We have bamboo fabrics, and then we have, can you go down a little bit more? Yes, these are all the bamboo fabric lined. With bamboo fabrics, the yarn itself is anti-UV. We tested the fabric on 160-gram fabrics for anti-UV, and we got UPF 50 for bamboo fabric on jersey without adding any chemical. So all that bamboo fabric have the UV protection. And then we have organic cotton on woven and on knitting. We also did an organic cotton on organic dye in commercial. we are the first company that did organic dye commercially. We're working with the University of Technology to dye the organic cotton organic. So that's the first, and we have that one in stock. And for normal cotton, we want to add some more fun into it, and we want to add function into it, because we feel like for people, for consumer to use the fabric longer is a part of sustainable. And the only way to keep them use it longer is the fabric is beneficial to the customer and meaningful to the customer. So as we add anti-mosquito repellents or anti-UV or Coolmax or Wicking, these will help the customer to use it longer because it's actually beneficial to the user. And then we have spade dye. These are the fabric that using the yarn dye or the fiber dye. So all the process is pre-dye. And with pre-dyes, they're using Oecotec dyes, and the loss in the dyeing process and the knitting process is least. So you save more water on spade dye and on melange fabrics. And down here you have tencel, normal tencel, but we also add some function on, depend on the customer. And can you scroll down a little bit more? Yes, coffee fabrics. We work with ash coffee to get coffee fabric, and we also mix the yarn differently. We twist the yarn, and then we working with twisting yarn with nylon, and then working coffee with nylon to give the yarn some effect, and also the fabric some effects to have the iced coffee, where we mix both yarn together to give it function as well as durability. And then recycled cotton. We currently have BCI cotton with recycled poly and also recycled cotton. Our recycled cotton have about 60% recycled and 40% normal. You can't have 100% recycled cotton. The reason is with 100% recycled cotton, the yarn is very rough, is not suitable for garment wear. So we have, this is 50-50. So we change a recycled poly with recycled cotton, and we dye one part. So you have the like a snowy or a flake effect. And then recycled poly, yes, recycled poly, we have standard recycled poly, which is white, and you can dye any color you want. And also melange recycled poly. Melange recycled poly we have to import from China, the only company that makes recycled poly in China. And also, this is our contact, and you can contact us through hellowellfabric.com with any request, and we'll try to answer you as much as we can. So we have Mr. here, which is on the website, and me. We will do our best to helping you out with any inquiry. So thank you, Nicola. I hope I'm doing okay.
You did great. That was amazing. Really good presentation and such innovative fabrics. I truly think that this is the future of textiles, and everybody has to start thinking about how to make fabrics and textiles more eco-friendly. And so really good collection of fabrics over there. So guys, check out the company, Well Fabric. You can go to Global Sources, and they are under Baolan Textiles on Global Sources, but the company name is Well Fabric. So thank you so much for joining us today. It was really nice seeing your products. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, that was an awesome company, really innovative products. Let's move on. And we have Regina from Fortunate. Hi, Regina. How are you doing?
Hey, Megla. I've got to say, before we move on to my presentation, that, my background, you probably know, is I actually was in garment manufacturing or in retail and wholesale. And seeing those factories was like amazing. It sort of made me sort of miss because all of those fabrics, those innovative fabrics, coffee, bamboo existed, but certainly not coffee, and all of the recycled fabrics. It sort of made me sort of miss that side of my life. So if you are in that garment sector, I would, highly encourage you to take a look at those factories. They were fantastic. So
exactly, very innovative. Very, very innovative. Okay, so let's get on with your presentation, and very topical, very relevant with everything that's going on, and sort of following what CJ was talking about.
Yes. I have to say, I'm a little bit more bullish than CJ.
Okay, do you want to go ahead and share your screen and then we'll get started?
Okay, so do you want to put my thing on? And whoops, hang on, and whoops, hang on, share my screen, share screen. Okay, share.
And guys, let us know if you have any
that?
questions
There we go.
for Regina. Okay, yes, I see your screen. And
just see my screen. I'll go to my presentation.
Yes.
Loading.
Do you want to just click on the hide button there? Yeah.
Yep, done.
All right, over to you.
Okay, so my topic today is, if you are looking to exit your brand, here is what buyers will generally be looking for in 2022. So if you don't know who I am, just very, very quickly, I've been an Amazon private label seller since August 2015. I do come out of a clothing background in retail and wholesale. I currently still sell on Amazon US, UK, and was Australia's first private label seller. I have the Women on Amazon podcast and Facebook community. I do speak at events, and I'm co-founder of the Amazon Collective Mastermind Retreat, which is an event that's being held here in Australia in Melbourne now in March. And I am also the regional manager for Australia and New Zealand for Fortinet e-commerce investment banking, which is in which capacity I'm speaking with you today. So I did hear recently a business broker say that at least 50% of the profit you will ever make in your business will be on the exit. And this is something that most people don't actually realize. And so if you are looking to exit your brand, here is what buyers will be looking for in 2022. So firstly, most sellers don't realize that there are different types of Amazon buyers. So the four main categories are the aggregators, the e-commerce companies. So these are the guys like the Thrasios and the Razors and that we all know about. There are strategic buyers also. They're looking for synergies. So these might be businesses that will look at your brand because it fits in with what they're currently doing, or they have distribution channels that they are looking to fit with a like-minded brand. There are private equity firms that are looking perhaps for partnerships rather than straight buyouts. And there are existing Amazon sellers who are cashed up and they're looking to either expand their offerings or they're looking for distressed brands that they can improve and flip. So there's a buyer for just about every type of Amazon business. We at Fortinet recently did survey 42 of the largest aggregators. And so most of the things that I will be talking about today are the things that came out of that survey. So in 2022, and I think CJ mentioned well over 100 or so aggregators, there seems to be a new one popping up every day. We estimate that they will be looking to purchase over 1,000 brands in the new year. So, there's a great opportunities out there for you to sell your brand if you're one of these 1,000 or more. The things that the buyers are looking for is, on the whole, they are looking for private label brands. So if you have an Amazon wholesale business, which is a very valid way to make money, you are less likely to sell it to an aggregator. Okay, they are looking very much for private label brands, and they are looking for evergreen products that are easy to manage with little to no regulatory requirements. Your brand becomes attractive after at least a year of trade, ideally closer to 2. And the most important things they're looking for are profitability and a growing sales trend. So if your brand is waning, then it's not going to be attractive to buyers. They are looking for brands that are improving their sales trend. Now, we do know that in 2020, there were quite a lot of businesses that had a huge spike due to COVID. And in 2021, the numbers are a little bit down in comparison. So, of course, the buyers are cognizant of this. And so what we're looking at is your sales trend compared to 2019. if this is what's happened to you. So don't worry if your sales are down on last year's huge spike, as long as you are improving month on month on 2019, you are still an attractive proposition. Does that make sense? You there, Megla? Okay. And of course, a minimum of 15% profitability, ideally 20% or more. The most desirable categories, and these are actually in order. So if you have products that are in home and garden, pet supplies, baby products, but not clothes, outdoors, health and personal care, you are likely to get the best possible multiple on your exit. Now, that's not to say that other categories are not attractive, but these, according to our survey, were the most attractive. The least desirable categories were apparel, electronics, supplements, food, and fashion. How big should your business be? Well, that's how long is a piece of string. But 65% of the respondents in our survey require a minimum purchase price of $500,000 to $1 million. So that means if you're looking at, and at the moment, a realistic multiple is 5 or more. So you would be looking at a 20% profit margin of about the same. So if you've got a turnover of $500,000 to $1 million or more, then you are an attractive business. 53% of buyers have no maximum price. So the bigger, the better. Where should you be selling and be located? Well, this is, again, quite varied, but a large proportion of the buyers are looking for diversified accounts, i.e. looking that you're selling in more than one geographic category. With more than a third of buyers prefer USA and Canada to be the main markets. Only 12% of buyers are looking for European-only businesses. However, where you live has got very little relevance to the buyers. So as long as you're selling in the large markets, you can be based anywhere in the world. So it's not exclusively for US-based sellers, but sellers anywhere can put their brand to market. Where should you be focusing your energy and capital? There were some surprises here because what we found was that most buyers indicated that distribution off Amazon, unless it was quite significant, does not in fact increase the valuation of the brand. So if you are building your brand with an exit in mind, we suggest that you focus your energy on Amazon. So don't worry about Walmart or Shopify or other channels unless you can get them to be quite a large proportion of your business. So for most Amazon sellers, it's not really relevant. You're best very much to focus your energy, your time, and your money on driving on Amazon traffic. Again, this was a bit of a surprise, as was the social media presence. Only 7% of buyers will give a higher valuation for businesses with social media presence. And only 29% of them said that they would do so if it was actually significant. So again, if you're looking to sell, focus your energy on Amazon promotions. And Amazon is giving us more and more different opportunities with different types of advertising, with posts, with Amazon Lives. So there's plenty of ways that you can increase your social on Amazon presence. What do you need to do to make your business more attractive to buyers? Generally, the tighter your SKU count, the better. So if you have non-performing SKUs, you do want to cull them. And then you want to place your energy on focusing on the profitability of the SKUs that are performing. Because at the end of the day, the multiple of your brand will be based on the profit of your best performing SKUs. So if you have SKUs that are not making that much profit, you will want to cull them. If you have patents or design patents, and you might want to be talking to CJ about this, they very much add value to your brand. And you definitely want to stay away from any kind of black hat tactics in your business, whether that's for ranking, for reviews, any of those things that we sellers are offered by people. You want to stay away from those so as to avoid any product or account suspensions. A clean account is far more attractive to buyers, even if it has fewer reviews, etc. You should really start preparing your brand at least 3 to 6 months in advance to make sure you've got all your ducks in a row, that your listings look great, that you've prepared your numbers well, and that you are ready mentally as well to move on from your business. And we recommend that you don't do it alone. You wouldn't sell your house on your own. So why should you sell one of your biggest financial things on your own? We do recommend you work with a specialist who can help you to maximize the hard work, effort, time, and money you've invested in building your brand. We know that the aggregators are out there knocking on doors. And we also know that if you deal with them directly, they will lowball you. So obviously, we would love for you to work with us. We have a 3-step process that has shown to provide between 30 and 50% more on an Amazon brand exit. And so what we first do is we do a very strong financial presentation, and we work with your accountant, and we are very aggressive with ad backs to get the highest possible SDE, or seller's discretionary earnings, or profit, because for every dollar you can find on your profit, you're looking at between 4, 5, 6, 7 extra dollars on your exit. So we are known to be very aggressive with our numbers, and we declare obviously to the buyers what we are doing here. Next, the story of your brand is super important. You don't want to just simply send the buyers a link to your Amazon page. We create a full 50 or so page pitch deck to present your brand in the best possible light, including its story and future opportunities. And lastly, we actually do put your brand to an silent auction. So we have a competitive bidding process with well over 100 potential buyers, and then we negotiate with the top 2 or 3 of those buyers to get you the very best possible deal that you can have. And then, of course, we hold your hand throughout that process, and I very much agree with CJ there that money loves speed. And we do want to work as fast as possible to get things done quickly. And because we do a lot of the stuff before we present your brand to the buyers, generally after a letter of intent is signed, we can get deals done pretty quickly because we have done a lot of the stuff that they would already do. And the survey that I mentioned, you can get your own copy on that link. And if you would like to talk to me, you can find me on that email. I'm very easy to find on Facebook Messenger, and happy to answer any of your questions if you're looking to sell your brand anytime in the next 12 months.
Awesome. That was super cool. I'm just going to move your slides. Okay. There we are. Okay. Yeah, really good information. And I think some things that I didn't expect with them. I mean, first of all, the product categories, I think that's, understandable that they are not looking for apparel or electronics or those kinds of categories where the return rate is high, or there's a lot of moving parts for electronics, especially, and there might be issues with all of those things.
And also things like iPhone cases and things that they don't really want, because they change so fast. So,
Right. And what about in terms of sourcing markets? Does that matter at all where you're sourcing from? Vietnam, China, India? That does not. Okay.
No, it's all about the product and the product moat. So it's the reviews, it's where you sit in your category. and it's the profitability. So wherever you can find your product to get the best bang for your buck is perfectly fine.
Okay, that is really insightful. Guys, let us know if you have any questions. Everybody's been very quiet today. There are a lot of people watching, but I see that there's not too many questions. I know that some people are at work and they're kind of just watching on the side.
I can't speak.
But yeah, let us know if you have any questions for Regina over here. So, I mean, let's compare, a situation where a seller is going direct to an Amazon aggregator, and they are talking to, one of the so many different aggregators out there.
Oh, look, there are.
Versus...
And I know that the sellers are getting emailed, they're getting cold message,
exactly,
all the time. And
exactly.
look, and as I said, look, if you're going to be talking to an aggregator, they will lowball you. And the other thing is, and a lot of these aggregators do advertise quite heavily on all their social media that they pay commissions for deals. And so, if you go directly, obviously there's not going to be a commission paid. However, they're not going to give it to you either. They're just going to keep that money, so they're going to want to obviously get the best possible price for themselves. And that's why going through an external process where the aggregators have to bid against each other and other types of buyers, they're going to put their best foot forward. So they will generally offer more for a business going through a process like ours. And we have had historically the deals we've done, we have been able to show at least a 30 to a 50% additional price for brands, because we have had businesses come to us with an offer on the table, and then they've gone through that process, and we've been able to improve their offer quite significantly. And in a lot of cases, the sellers, this is a life-changing process for them, and it can create generational wealth. So why would you give up even a 10 or 20% increase in the value of your brand?
Exactly. That is very significant. I mean, 30 to 50%, that is incredibly significant.
Absolutely.
So what do you think about the overall, the bubble that CJ was talking about? And, a lot of people I'm talking to, they're also very concerned about the amount of money that's being pumped in to this industry. And it's just, sooner than later, it has to happen, right?
Look, it will, but we're a little bit more bullish. I mean, we still think 2022 and 2023 will be good years for sellers who have existing brands. But as I said before, money loves speed. So if you've currently have a brand that is 12 to 18 months old, that's moving up and has got a good profitability, you want to be perhaps looking to sell it sooner rather than later. It's the perfect storm right now. There's a lot of money sloshing around. There's a lot of competition for the good brands amongst the aggregators, because a lot of them are raising money and they've got to spend it. They can't sit on it. They've got to spend it for their investors. So if you do have a brand, give me a call.
Right. And how are these aggregators doing with the businesses that they are acquiring? I mean, because Amazon is not an easy business to run, right? And a lot of these aggregators don't have e-commerce or Amazon backgrounds. They're basically maybe, they've done some other sort of startup or tech companies, all sorts of companies getting in. Are you hearing, any stories that these aggregators, after they buy a business or multiple businesses, they're not able to really manage the business or optimize it
There is a little bit of that, but at the end of the day, that's hate to say it, but it's their problem. Because generally, we try and get as much cash up front for the brand. So you really want to make sure that when you're selling, you want to get, as much up front and not, very small percentage. You don't want to rely on the never. It's great to have an earnout. However, it's much better to get the bulk of your funds up front. And the big aggregators, the good ones, they have teams in place. They have teams that come with experience, and even the new guys that are coming through, they might not know themselves, but they are hiring. They're hiring teams of people who know what they're doing. So
Right.
I'm hopeful.
So can someone buy a business via your services?
Yes, look, we have a mergers and acquisitions department, so that's not my area. So we absolutely do. So you can contact our M&A team, or I can introduce you, and you can go into our buyers pool, and that team does vet buyers and will send you deals that they feel are appropriate for you. So yeah, the answer is yes. That's not my area of speciality, however. I deal purely on the seller side. We do have a Chinese wall, so to speak, where we deal with the sellers side, and the M&A team work on the buyer side.
Right. And last question before I let you go, what sort of mistakes do you see sellers making as they are preparing their business for an exit, or what sort of mistakes are they making that
Look,
is basically
again, it's just
affecting
those
their
things that I
valuation?
mentioned before. We get distracted, and I've been very guilty of this, thinking, right, I've got to build my website, right, I've got to sell on all these different other marketplaces. I've got to do all the social media. I've got to be on Pinterest, on Facebook, on YouTube, on all of that. And at the end of the day, that just dilutes your energy, especially small business owners who have got those sort of like $500,000 to $1 million brands. So the advice is don't dilute your focus, and stay very much on Amazon, because that's going to be the most attractive. And also think about the profitability. You're really, as I said before, every dollar that you can save is $5 to $7 earned on your exit. So look at your profitability. You really want to shave as much as you can, while keeping quality, obviously. But if you're getting ready, look at that profitability, start getting rid of tools that you don't use. I mean, we would generally add a lot of that stuff back anyway. But in order to prepare, talk with your accountant about what is it that you can add back that the buyer is not going to be spending money on. Okay, so there's a lot of things that you've spent money on that they won't be. So you can add those things back when you're doing your accounts.
Right. Makes sense. Well, Regina, thank you so much for joining us today, for sharing these insights. And guys, check out fortunate.net, and also download their the survey that they have done. A lot of good insights. I've read the survey. Really good overview of what's going on in this space. So thank you so much, Regina, for joining us. And I'll
thank
see
you
you
so
around.
much for having me. It's been fun. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so now we are almost ready for Stephen, but before we go to Stephen, we've got a supplier, a really quick product highlight session that we have to do with a supplier, and we've got Tracy joining us. Hi, Tracy. How are you doing?
Yeah, hello.
Are you there?
Yeah. Hello.
Hi, Tracy. So Tracy, your company does skincare products. Do you want to go ahead and tell us about your company and also do your product demos? I think Tracy's having some tech issues. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Go for it.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. It's many companies. Our factory passed the FDA, ISO, and GMP. Also, we passed by the our customers' different certificates needs. Also, so we have MSD, COA.
Oh, Tracy, looks like your internet connection is not okay. We're not able to hear you clearly. So I'm going to remove you from your stream. We'll see if you can connect with another device later, and we'll get you back on the show later. So let's move on. I'm going to invite Steven Selikoff for the next presentation. Hello, Steven. How are you doing?
Hello, Megla. How are you?
I am doing fantastic, and I am so excited to see you again. This is the last presentation of Global Sources Virtual Summit, and I'm super excited about your topic because it is so important, it is so relevant, and this is something that people really don't talk about much. And it is something that can easily help sellers increase their revenue, expand their business, and earn more money.
It really is the next step.
Exactly. So let's get started. We are going to be talking about expanding to retail if you're an Amazon e-commerce seller. So if you can share your slides, I will put them up on the screen and we will get started.
All right, that's what I'm going to bring up over here. And you're all going to be wonderfully, hopefully patient and make sure that I do this correct. Let's see what happens here.
And guys, stick around until the end because we've got some amazing prizes to give away. We've got mega prizes worth thousands of dollars. We're giving away 3 months of free access to So Stocked for 3 people. We're giving away a 1-month package of Amazon Social worth $1,000. And we are giving away 3 nights of hotel stay in Hong Kong if you visit Global Sources exhibitions. So some mega prizes coming up. We're going to do a quiz right after Steven's presentation. Steven's going to stick around with us as well for that. And we're going to do a grand finale of the Global Sources Virtual Summit. So Steven, I see your slides. And
the slide is working?
That is,
okay.
Slide is working.
The rest of the presentation's easy. I got the technology done. I'm happy.
I love this photo of yours.
You recognize that, huh?
Of course. All right.
I cannot wait to go back in Hong Kong again. That is
absolutely.
That is wonderful.
Yes. Yes.
So let me start off by getting the slide there and just introducing myself. So I am I've been doing this for a long time. I started selling to retailers in 2001. In 2005, I started selling on Amazon. On 2006, I'm up here in Seattle and I was working at Microsoft. So some friends of mine from Microsoft who moved over to Amazon told me about this wonderful new service Amazon was going to offer, which was that they would do fulfillment for you. At that time, 3PLs, there still are, rather expensive, but Amazon was so much less. So I signed up and I joined Amazon FBA, one of the very first. I was there within 30 days using Amazon to fulfill and so on. I started going back and forth to China in 2012. And, I say that in a lot of presentations. What I don't say, and gives a little more insight into my background, is that I started negotiating with China back in 2005, 2004 and 5. When I was with Microsoft, I was global business manager twice. That's right underneath the executive level. And they taught me how to do it. So when we talk about negotiation and dealing with Chinese suppliers and so on, I didn't just wake up. I was very, very lucky and had some very good training. So a little bit more about me. I continue to keep my focus on selling to retailers, and my business model is to sell across all channels. A couple of years back, I started teaching other people how to do the same thing. And I also wrote a book, which we should have a copy of here. I think when people talk about a book, they think some 30-page ebook. It's not. It's pretty big. It's all about doing your product, doing it well, and making it succeed, as I said, across all channels, not just Amazon. If you can sell on Amazon, you can sell to retailers. You need to be thinking about that. And I'll go into some numbers in a moment to understand why. But there is that book. I do courses. I also have some training specifically about expanding from Amazon into retail. If you go to my site, Product Development Academy, you'll find it out there. And I got some wonderful bonuses to talk about at the end, kind of bribing you to stick with me. But that's my story. So I've earned my lovely haircut because I've done a lot and I've had a lot of experience. So I'm going to see here if I just will this move it to the next slide. That is not working there. Let's move the next slide over here. And there we go. Perfect. So I said that I would talk about why you want to think about in-store retail. In the US, e-commerce is 12.5% of retail right now. Oh, I should take that back. Last quarter, second quarter, third quarter will be announced by the Department of Commerce in about 24 hours, November 18th, US time. So the expectation is it's going to continue this slow curve, bounce back up. As you look on this chart, you can see that during fourth quarter, there's a big bounce across all of retail, but with e-commerce bouncing back. And again, first quarter, it will drop back down again. These are specific numbers. I've seen similar reports from Nielsen. They are the people who are responsible for tracking TV shows, but also tracking retail. If you're ever at a U.S. Supermarket or store, you run your product through the scanner and it beeps. That information is going to the store accounting register. It tracks everything inside the store, but it also sends a message to Nielsen, who tracks all of that and tracks online, working with Amazon. It's the same from NFR and a few other organizations. And I point that out because I've got to tell you, I got an email yesterday with a new report, and it says that 40% of people are shopping online and stuff like that. And I almost put a post out onto Facebook saying, where does anyone know where they're getting these numbers? Because they're not the actual numbers. E-commerce is super strong. It is very easy to get into. But think about it as a swimming pool at a resort on the beach. You could do laps in that pool. You can learn to swim really well. In fact, when I learned to scuba dive, they started us in the pool, but then we moved to the ocean, and the ocean is huge. And I want you to think about moving from e-commerce to in-store retail the same way you think about swimming in a pool and moving into an ocean. It's big, it's huge, and it can be scary at first, but it really is a natural progression. So this is the reasons that you want to think about getting into big box stores, retail. I'll talk about big box in a moment, but let's talk about what retail really is. So there's basically two types that people think of, and basically two major categories of in-store retailers. There's also club stores, which can be jumbled in with big box stores. Specialty retailers, they can be called gift stores, independent retailers, mom and pops. They're usually physically smaller. They can be a small chain or a single store. Big boxes are large chains, large stores, large foot traffic, and you can sell a huge amount. Specialty retailers, less foot traffic, but both specialty and big box deal with bulk. You sell a lot and you make a lot of money. Big box issues POs. If you're going to get into a Walmart or a Home Depot or a Bunnings, it's going to take a while. They're going to put you into their system. They'll do a test order. They'll issue a purchase order, and that's forward dated. It's actually forward dated far enough out for you to actually produce and ship your products before they're due at the store. And then after they receive it, they'll pay in 30 or 60 days and so on. You'll deal with a corporate buyer, someone who's sitting in a cube in an office in front of a computer, away from the individual stores. And because of all that, it does take a while. If someone says, oh, I got into a big box store in 2 days or 2 weeks or even 2 months, maybe 2 months. No, not even 2 months. It's very improbable. On the other hand, and this is what we're going to focus on, specialty retailers. Because they're smaller sized, the decision maker is right there. And every skill that you have learned selling on Amazon, as far as making your product appealing, this is just one more sale. Only it's a sale that reorders again and again and again. It's a really simple purchase process. And guess what? They pay upfront. You don't have to wait to 30, 60 days. There are some exceptions. We'll touch on that in a moment. But they pay upfront. The decision maker is right there. They get to make a decision to buy, and they pay for shipping. So there's a lot to be said for selling to in-store specialty retailers. Let me just switch this on over here so I can see you guys and pause for a second to see if there's any questions. Are any questions?
I don't see any questions. I don't see any questions as of now, but guys, let us know if you have any questions in the comments. Stephen will be taking questions at the end.
Excellent. So what are the steps? How do you build your 2020 strategy to include in-store retailers? It's very simple. If you want, and everyone does, to get to those big box stores, do yourself a favor, do it in steps. Start first with the independent and specialty retailers. Make sure you've got everything aligned, and then grow on to big box. Keep your Amazon. I don't want people jumping off of Amazon for this, but Amazon's going to be giving you income like this. The specialty retailers are going to be giving you income like this. And then by the time you get to big box stores, it goes all the way up quickly. It's a natural progression. The great thing when you sell to independent and specialty retailers is that there's no algorithms to figure out, no surprise suspensions. It's really simple. They want the product, they order it, you send it. And because specialty across the board, all retailers don't want to have 1,000 silicone spatulas, you're not competing with your factory or other sellers. Yours is there. People want it. They buy it. Now, this sounds good. I want to be clear. There are certain requirements. The product must benefit the retailer. If the retailer only sells stuff for dogs and you only have products for cats, you got to find a cat retailer. You know, that's not going to make sense to you, the customers, or the person who owns the store. We call that a fit. It must be a fit. It's got to bring something to the retailer. And this is a very subtle but important point. Retailers have needs. And think of them as a business. They have business needs. They need to increase their revenue. They need to increase their average margins. They need to bring people into the store. They need to be exciting. They need to have the latest, greatest, whatever the buzz is about. So those are the benefits of the retailers. And we're going to talk more about those in a moment when we talk about making the sale. The package. Package has to be retail ready. I've got here. Here's package that I use online. Everyone knows what these bags are and so on. Exact same product for retailers. Same product, different packaging. Your package does have to be retail ready. And we can go into that in more detail. It cannot cannibalize. And I think most people on Amazon have heard the word cannibalize, but in case you haven't, your product has got to be able to sell without decreasing the profits from other products. So if you have, here we go, get to use coffee cups. If you've got 2 coffee cups, if they are selling this coffee cup and you come along and you're selling this coffee cup, they're going to say, well, customers are going to choose one or the other, but not both. So they've sold a coffee cup, but they've given up the space on that shelf where they could be selling something else. So they want you to have something that's not a coffee cup. Best thing in the world is if it does something opposite than cannibalize. If it complements the other product, if it helps it sell. So what's an example of that? Peanut butter and jelly. The more people buy peanut butter, the more they buy jelly. The more they buy jelly, the more they buy peanut butter. And both of those increase the sales of bread. If you've got a store that's selling frozen pizzas and you sell pizza stones, if anyone doesn't know, those are these flat stones that you put on the base of in the oven and you put your pizza on it. It really makes it taste better than most pizzas you've ever had. If you have a place that's selling pizzas and you sell pizza stones, frozen pizzas increase in sales. You're selling your pizza stones, the store is selling your pizza stones and making money, and they're also selling more pizzas. That's even better. That's the opposite of cannibalizing. And lastly, you have to be able to sell in bulk, in multiples. Stores don't buy one product at a time. They buy a bunch at a time. I know this is pretty obvious, but that's where the magic happens. That's where you make money. So you have to be able to sell in bulk. Let's get this to the next slide. There we go. The next question everyone always asks is, how much do I charge? And I have seen this pop up in Facebook groups all the time. People are saying, oh, you can charge 20% or 30% or whatever. Those are outliers. Those are aberrations. The industry is pretty straightforward. Retailers do something called keystoning. They double the price. It's 100% markup, 50% margin. Keystone all means the same thing. If they've got something on the shelf that's selling for $50, they're going to pay you $25 for it. If you've got something you're selling to them for $25, they're going to put it on the shelf for $50. When I started this years ago, Amazon didn't charge as much as they do now. And you don't pay as much for PPC as you do now. In fact, lots of people back then didn't even do PPC. These days, it's all required. And frankly, as a lot of people already know by opening their emails, next year the prices are going up for a lot of things. Sit down with pencil and paper, figure out how much is actually going into the pockets of Amazon. And you'll see that these days, it's pretty darn close to independent specialty retailers, 50%. Now, big box stores, they dance around that. It could be 54%, 58%, could be 62%, it could be 47%, but it's right around there. So in your head, when you figure out your strategy and the viability of your product, just think keystoning across the board. But that is what retailers expect. Your clients, your customers, the retailers expect. And as long as you build that into your model, you should be good. And frankly, if you are making money on Amazon these days, you're going to find that that keystoning fits right in with what you're doing. How do you make money at 50% margin? Well, this is where we come back to that magic where I said bulk. Bulk is everything. So let's say that you're selling baby blankets, the wonderful example of baby blankets. I think I should do baby blankets with little embroidered silicone spatulas and garlic presses on the baby blankets. And the only people who are going to buy it are Amazon sellers who all know the inside joke. So baby blankets. You have a case pack. So what's a case pack? When you have your products made in China, they're all put into a big carton, the master carton. When you fill out your shipping instructions, it'll ask you about an inner carton, master carton, outer carton, so on. That inner carton is your case pack. That's the number that the retailers are going to purchase by. So let's say you have 6 baby blankets in an inner carton. In China, they put all the blankets in. They have each one of them in their own little package. They get sealed inside that case pack. And from that point on, it's sold as a case pack. Your 3PL never has to open them up, never has to take the fees of opening them up. All they do is they stick a label on the outside and send it off. So in this case, we've got a case pack of 6. Retail price is $20, $19.99. You're selling it to the retailer, $10 each. Case pack is $60. And you got 3 colors, pink, blue, and yellow. So the retailer says, okay, I'm gonna buy a case of each because I don't know if the next customer is going to come in with a desire to buy a pink one or a blue one or a yellow one. So I have to have all 3 colors. I'm going to buy a case pack of each. So right away, that one sale starts off with 18 units. Now, let's say that they're going to sell 6 per week. That's about 312 blankets a year, 31,200 in revenue in your pocket. If you get 100 retailers, now you're making $312,000 in yearly sales. And I got to tell you, it's really easy to get 100 retailers. I've got some of my students are launching already knowing that they have retailers. One of my students had someone painting a room in their house, and their wife works at putting products into retailers. And before they finished painted the room, she already had 11 retailers lined up before she even launched. You can get to 100 retailers really easy. In my program, we talk to you about how, but I just want you to focus on that right now. Wouldn't it be nice to have an additional $312,000 in your pocket? Now, when you get a suspension, it's not as much of a panic mode because you've got a whole nother strong income stream coming in. In many cases, stronger than Amazon. So that's why you want to be in multiple channels. That's why it's a natural progression. That's why you should be thinking about it for next year. The numbers are beautiful. So how do you sell your product to a retailer? Frankly, it's the same way you sell it to customers. You don't. Don't sell your product. This is the original ad for iPod. Are they saying, we've got a wonderful, high quality, great MP3 player? No. Are they saying we compete with the Nano Rio, which I don't think anyone's ever heard of ever again because iPod blew them out of the market? No. They're selling the benefits. I love this. 1,000 songs in your pocket. That's the benefit. You can do the same thing with retailers. Don't focus on what the product is. Focus on what the benefits are. And we started talking about them a few minutes ago. It adds to the market basket, which means people are buying it, and it's adding to the bottom line cash register receipts at the end of the day. It's something they hadn't seen before. They want it. They want to buy. It increases profits. And one of the great ways is it complements other products. It has buzz. And one of my products was in the gift bags at the, I do my own products. One of my products was in the gift bags at the Oscars. It was talked about literally all over the world. It had good turns. Turns means that you put it in the store, the retailer puts it on the shelf, and it sells. And they put more on the shelf, and it sells. CJ says, I have that iPod. Hello, CJ. CJ, last time I saw you, we were at lunch in Hong Kong. I hope you're doing well. There he goes. I love it. There we go. I got news for you. The year after they went to 3,000 songs in your pocket, you could have upgraded by then. Okay, this is the point. I mentioned that I was at Microsoft. This is the point to embarrass myself as CJ holds up his iPod. One of the products that I was responsible for was the Zune. So I certainly have learned by mistakes as well as successes. You want to bring the benefit of your product to the retailer. And it does not make sense at first until you think about the 1,000 songs in your pocket. If iPod is 1,000 songs in your pocket and Apple realizes that, then you should be saying, hey, this is my cool product. And it brings to you, well, let's see, this is a coffee mug that says China on it. And it's very attractive to customers that like to travel. Customers that like to travel love this. That's why you want to have it on your shelf, because it's a benefit to you. I've got a tiny, tiny little backpack that opens up to a full-size backpack. It hits a specific customer avatar. If that store is selling to people who are active and young and hiking and do things spontaneously, they want a backpack like that. So your product has to be good, no question about it. We'll talk about the product a little bit more. But when you make that sale, it becomes really easy. When you go to a store and you say, hey, I've been selling these little flower pot things, and stores just like yours are going through 3 or 4 turns a year. Stores just like yours are selling a lot of these. They're flying off the shelf. In fact, where was it? I got into a major showroom because the owner of the showroom went into a store, said, I've never seen these before. And the store owner said, these are flying off the shelf. And then he gave me a call and said, hey, do you want to be in our showroom? And that led to a lot of other things, including Bed Bath & Beyond. So what is the benefit? What is the benefit that you provide the retailer? Again, it cannot cannibalize, and that's super, super important. On Amazon, let's see if we have that in the next slide. Yeah. On Amazon, it's natural to try to cannibalize your competition. You want to create your listing to be better, your photos to be better, your PPC strategy to be better in order to take sales away from them. But what you've got to do when you sell to retailers, you want to make sure that you're differentiated enough so that it's not going to take away from what they already have on the shelves. If they don't have it on the shelf, great. But if they have silicone barbecue gloves on the shelf, they don't want yours. Now, Amazon, they love it. When there's 100 silicone barbecue gloves, there are people who do the marketing for Amazon are out there advertising, saying Amazon's the biggest marketplace in the world. We've got all of these products. We've got millions of products. But every one of us know that if you're on page 4, you're not selling a damn thing. There could be another 100 behind you, and they're not selling anything either. The only people that benefits is Amazon. And guess what? When you start competing with each other, price war, we all know what happens. The price gets shoved down, and the customers like that. Wonderful. And then what are you going to do to compete? You're going to spend more on PPC. Who loves that? Amazon and their shareholders. So cannibalizing each other helps Amazon. It doesn't help retailers. Retailers have limited shelf space, both in front of the store and in the back. And because copycats don't add more to their bottom line, they are not looking for copycats. But I'm going to bring this little plant thing back again. I think we've all seen little plastic plant things in the stores and so on. Usually, let's do it this way. Yeah, it hides it. One little plant thing. But if you come along and you have one that has two, you're different. Now you've got something exciting for the retailer because they haven't seen it before. You haven't invented anti-gravity sneakers. You simply have said, hey, I'm differentiating my product, just like I know I need to do on Amazon. And that appeal of having a differentiated product is so strong, retailers want you. Now, I got a pro tip in here that's really important. On Amazon, if you're 3 pennies less than your competitor, you certainly have a lot more appeal. But for retailers, they're not looking for that. You get to be 3 pennies, 10 pennies, you could be 5, even 10% less. They want to know that when you deliver your products, you're dependable. That it'll show up when you say it will. They want to know that when you call up, gosh, I had a woman who was running a charity store for guide dogs for the blind. And every time she placed an order, it was at least an hour before she got off the phone. She just talked and talked and talked and chatted. She wanted to know how my dog was doing. It's a relationship. They want to, business-wise, they want to trust you. They want to depend on you. They want to know that you're professional. And when it comes to independent and specialty retailers, they're not prohibited from building friendships like big corporations are. They build that relationship. And because of that, well, you're not going to kick out the next person with barbecue gloves because you're saying, hey, I'm 10% less. But you get your little double planters on the shelf and someone else sees it and says, I'm going to copy Steven's double planters and I'm going to try to take this retailer away from him because I'm 10% less. Guess what? It doesn't happen. You're still there. You don't have to lower your price to compete with competitors and keep that retailer. That's another beautiful thing about selling to retailers, particularly specialty and independent retailers. I'm trying to look at, I don't have any clocks around me, but boy, I'm sorry, Megla. Once again, I run late. I will go along faster. Packaging. Amazon has listings. On the shelf, packaging is the same as your listing. That's going to get people's attention. And there are some quick keys to having successful packaging. Right away, you have to know what that product is. So on the front of the package, give a descriptive name. When they launched the automobile, the car, they didn't say, hey, folks, this is a car. This is an automobile. People didn't know what it was. They called it a horseless carriage. Simple, understandable. Let people know what it is that you're selling. Make it descriptive. And then the benefit, 1,000 songs in your pocket. How does it change your life? And express that with emotion. That brings people in. There we go. Excellent. And then features. What are the physical aspects of the product? What's the flavor, the fragrance, the size, the number of units? How long does it last, and so on. Bring in the intangibles, make the customer understand that there's value behind it, that it has shelf impact, it gets someone's eye on the shelf. And look at that. The logo and the name are not as important. Yeah, brand's important because they'll start recognizing that. But take a look at these little dips here. You immediately know they're all the same brand. If you like the Moroccan one and the chorizo one, and you see the garlic on the shelf, you're going to get it because you know it's part of the same brand, even though the logo is tiny up in front. So your brand, and that's a recognition, a visual, a message, understanding, a social media presence, that's your brand. Don't worry about making your logo super big. For people who've done courses with me, they know how I lost close to $9 million on that mistake, putting my logo out there and not understanding packaging. So what is the checklist? You want to move on to retailers, and you should. This is what you need to think about. Your product has to provide a benefit to the retailer. Great product, but for the sale, it must provide a benefit to the retailer. They must be able to keystone the price, which means you have to have your numbers aligned enough that you can sell it to them for half of what they're selling on the retail shelf. Shouldn't cannibalize other products. It must have retail ready packaging. And folks, that means a UPC, not an ASIN. ASIN is only for Amazon. It must be a fit for their customers. Don't sell dog products to a cat store. Don't sell cat products to a dog-only store. It must be live. What do I mean by that? Your product must actually be happening and growing. You don't want a product that is dying or dead. Retailers are not a way of dumping failed products. They are tougher. It must be strong. Put your best contenders out there. And you must have a 3PL. It can't arrive with an Amazon box. They will stop using you immediately. Going back to the very beginning, when I talked about that case pack, use a 3PL, and it'll actually cost you less than you are for sending individual units out to customers, because you're sending stuff out by case packs. They understand that. And again, it's really simple. They slap a label, FedEx label, and it sends out. The retailers pay for that up front. Some will even give you their FedEx account number or the UPS account number, and it goes right out. But you do need a 3PL. Or, gosh, when I started out, my ex-wife and I sat down and we did everything in our living room. So have a very understanding spouse or a 3PL. How do you find retailers? This is a big question I see online all the time. Actually, it's not as crazy as you think. First of all, Google them. If you're in the US, or actually if you're anywhere in the world, you can purchase the salesman's guide or the chain store guide. But if you're in the US, you can go into most libraries in most major cities and find it there for free. LinkedIn, sales reps. And I mentioned that this package here got me into an agency that got me into Bed Bath and Beyond and Belk's and a few others. There are two major complexes here in the US, one in Las Vegas, one in Atlanta. They are filled with showrooms just selling retail products. And those showrooms are filled with sales reps that, other than the twice-a-year shows, go out to their regions. And they drive around their region, going into store after store after store saying, hey, I've got a product. Let's see if I've got I don't have one of my catalogs. Here we go. I've got a product. Here's a catalog. What do you want to order? They're doing the selling for you. They don't get paid until they make a sale. Then you give them a commission. Sales reps. By the way, this is people don't even see this side of retail, agencies and marts and so on. It is such an important part and has been such an important part of retail. I mentioned Atlanta and Las Vegas. They're the big ones. The third one down is in Dallas, November 22nd, 1963. Those of us who are old in the US know that date very well. That's the day that JFK was assassinated. You've all seen the films, the grassy knoll, the open car and stuff like that. And he gets brought to the hospital and he passed away. Not a lot of people know where he was going. He was actually on his way to the retail mart in Dallas. That's how important it is for the retail industry in the US, these marts and the sales reps and so on. Retail consultants. A lot of people know that I've got a close relationship with Tim Bush. Tim Bush, one of the best retail consultants out there. There are brokers, trade shows. I just mentioned the permanent retail marts. There's online sites. Fair, Juniper just launched. RangeMe is a very good one. And you notice there are, say, big box store websites crossed out. They suck. If you put your information into that little spot, do you have a product for us? Fill out this form. It's like the contact us form. You'll never hear from them. If you do, maybe it'll be 6-8 months later. But walk into a Target or a Walmart or a Home Depot and say, Home Depot plant department, I've got this wonderful new unique planter no one else has, that has 2 instead of 1. What's the name of the buyer? How can I contact them and show it to them? Just ask. And that's so simple and so powerful that you get to have the name of the retailer. So to wrap up, you should be thinking in-store retailers for 2022. If you can do it on Amazon, you can do it in retailers. And are in-store retailers strong? It's obvious. Amazon is investing in in-store retail. And if they're doing it, you should too. It's a straightforward power play. Put it into your strategy for next year and see where you are this time, 12 months from now. And you're going to have a brand new, a totally different fourth quarter than you've ever had before. So think about it. So with that, I want to thank Megla and everyone at Global Sources. This is, I'm going to point out right now, just one of the major great benefits of Global Sources for people who are watching, if you've never used it. And I'm not going to put Megla on the spot here. You guys can follow up and go online and check it out yourself. You got to check out their match services. Their match service is so strong. When you're sourcing, it is just a fabulous, fabulous way to go. So.
Yes, absolutely. And the match service is completely free for buyers. So if you are looking for specific products, specific suppliers, you can actually give your requirements to the team and they will go and find suppliers for you. So very convenient. Steve, talk about your book. It's free.
It is. This is the book. It's a tiny little ebook, 550 pages. Oops. It is free. It is free for another just under 5 hours because it's midnight here in Seattle where Amazon lives. But it's actually the Kindle part is free, not the paperback or hardcover. But the Kindle book is free. Download it. I also, let me see if I can change the share here for a second. So let's see, I'm going to go here and I'm going to go to share screen. What do I have here? Window. Here we go. I also have some online programs. If you want to learn more about retail, come here, click on it. I'm going to tell you right now, all of this goes live December 1st. So we're just a few weeks away from it, but we're not publicizing this too much yet. There is a 50% discount for pre-registration. If you want to go out there and get that, it's pre-registration. But there's all sorts of courses here you can find and in-person events and so on. So feel free to go out to productdevelopmentacademy.com. That is there. And each time Megla has graciously allowed me to talk, I've put out the same discounts for anyone who joins my courses gets $400 off, and that was up on the slide previously, but it's really easy. Global Sources Virtual Summit GSVS 400, and you get $400 off.
Yes, and we will be sharing all the slides. We'll be sharing all the slides with people later, so you will be able to get the discount code there.
Perfect.
So, guys, check out Product Development Academy for sure. Stephen is a wealth of knowledge. Andy saying, what an awesome summit this has been. So many nuggets in every presentation, well-chosen speakers and very well hosted. Wow. Oh, thank you so much, Andy. You're so amazing. Thank you so much for staying with us almost throughout the summit, and for supporting us with your comments. So, Stephen, I want you to stick around with us for the next 5 minutes or so. We've got one supplier that we've got to feature, and then we're going to do the grand finale with prizes. And I'm also going to invite CJ. He's backstage. And the three of us will do the closing and grand finale of the summit.
You're going to surround yourself with the two best looking guys in the business.
Obviously, yeah. Nothing but the best. So, Stephen, I'm going to move you backstage for a couple of minutes while we introduce this supplier. So just hang in there.
Perfect.
I'll see you in a bit. All right. So we've got Tracy.
Hello.
Let's try this again, Tracy. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. You?
I'm good. So, Tracy, first of all, ask your colleagues to be quiet because we can hear background noise.
Okay, just wait a moment. I close the door.
Yeah. Okay, so they are a supplier that does skincare. This should be quite interesting. And she was trying to join us earlier, but she had
It's
tech
okay
issues.
now?
Yes, it's better. Okay,
Yeah.
go for it, Tracy. So tell us about Guangzhou Magnolia and show us your products.
Okay, hi guys. So I'm so happy here. My name is Tracy. I'm from Guangzhou Magnolia Biotechnology Company, and our company is established in 2008. We mainly do the skincare products and cosmetic products. And our factory passed the FDA, GMP, ISO, and the 22716. So we can meet the different customers' certificate needs, and also we can do the transportation certificates like the MSD, SOA, and so on. So no worry about our transportation. And we have US warehouse, so we can provide the drop shipping. So if you are USA customers, you can buy the products from our warehouse. So just need 1 or 2 days, you can get the products. Okay, I have a small video to show you the factory. Can I show the video?
Yeah, you can
A
try
small
to share
video.
screen.
Yeah,
try
a
to share
small
the
videos.
screen.
Yeah.
Dear friends, it's my honor to introduce our factory to you today. My name is Jen. Let's go to visit our factory now. Introduce our factory to you today. Let's go to visit our factory now.
But if any guys interested to our factory, you can add me and I will show you more details. And let's move to the next part. I would like to introduce our hot sauce products to our customers. And this is our turmeric skincare sets. It have the toner, cleanser, face cream, and oil, and mask. And this material is come from the natural turmeric. It can improve your dark skin and improve your dark skin. Yes, and this product we provide the provide the OEM service only 500 pieces. If you guys want to change the packages or change the label or change formulas, only 500 pieces. But if you want to try our Lialan brands, there is no MOQ request. You can take one or two pieces for try. Also, we have the US warehouse. You can buy the products in our US warehouse. And this is our turmeric sets. Okay, this is the toner. And we have different kind of the turmeric sets. Yes. And next, I would like to show you guys the hot sauce. This is the Christmas gift set. I know the Christmas is coming soon, so we have this gift set to show you guys. This clay mask. This clay mask we have different colors. Here, this is the pink one. This is the pink one. Can you see that? This is our clay mask. It can deep cleansing your skin and it detoxifying. Also, this is the turmeric, also turmeric. The green tea. And this is the plank clay mask. Yeah. All of them can OEM the logo, only 500 pieces for OEM. Yeah. If you guys want to try the sample, please contact us. And all of our products pass the, we have the necessary certificates of our products. No worry about the quality. And next, this is our hot sauce serum. We see AHA and retinol serum. All of them is made in the paraben-free formula and no animal test and no chemical ingredients. So you guys, you can try the sample to get your any products you want. You see that this is the small bottle. If you guys want to change the big ones, it's no any problems. Only 500 pieces for customize logo. As usually in China, so many factory need I hire MOQ maybe 5,000 or 10,000 pieces for OEM logo, but our factory can meet the different quantity needs because we have the semis production line and full automatic machine line, so we can meet the different quantities orders. And this is our serum. Also, we have the clay mask stick. This mask also our hot sauce clay mask. It looks so cute, and this one is really good for the travel. This one only 40 gram. You can taste when you travel or when you do the business travel. This really convenience. And the formula is the nature ingredients like the smell and like the essential oil. Yes, I want to say that this ingredient, this magma, is being imported from the Australia. Also, the essential oil we come from the USA, come from the UK. So the ingredient is really natural. The green tea mask, like I want to show you guys the texture. It is really smooth and wait for 10 or 15 minutes drier, then you can wash. You can see your skin is whitening than before use. These are very good and very popular products. Yes, all of our products you can take customize your logo or take our Lialan brands products. Yeah, and also we have so many customers like the listed foundation or the skincare products. All skincare products we can customize your logos for you. Yes. If you guys interested, please contact us and please call me. Yeah. Hello guys. How to show my contacts to the clients?
Yes. So contact Tracy via the Global Sources webpage. You can see the URL at the bottom of your screen right now. And wherever you're watching from, you can also see that the URL has been posted in the comment section. So definitely click on the URL, contact Tracy for their cosmetic products directly from the Global Sources webpage.
I just click here. I just test my contacts here. Is okay?
Yes, it's okay. All right. Thank you so much, Tracy, for joining us. And it was really nice speaking to you and also seeing your products. So thank you so much for joining us, and you have a great day.
I'm so happy to join you. Okay.
All right.
Okay, it's okay. Ending. Bye-bye.
Yes. Okay, so that was Tracy. And now we're going to go to our grand finale, and I'm going to call on screen CJ and Stephen to help me get through the finish line. Oh my gosh. And also I want to, first of all, before we go into our prizes, we're going to be giving away 5 prizes. But before I do that, I want to thank my team, Coco and Karen, who've been working tirelessly for the last few weeks to put all of this together. And it's not easy to put together a virtual summit. They've been working long hours. So thank you so much, Karen and Coco, for putting in all of this effort for the summit. We really appreciate it. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to be asking people some questions, and then we're going to be giving away some prizes. So I'm sure these questions are very easy for you guys, CJ and Stephen. The first day I was asking tough questions and people couldn't figure out the answers. We were not getting any answers. So then I switched to very easy questions now. But
I was up all night working out size and voltage requirements on a solar cell and seeing if we can bump it up with either a PCB or maybe a capacitor. So you've got me half awake. I'm going to leave the questions to CJ. And because I can tell you right now about voltage regulations for LEDs, but I'm not sure if I can tell you a lot more than that.
Well, if you're looking for brilliance for me, I've got the 10, right? And when you said the 30, I was like, I know I bought it. I got the 32. Doesn't have the same wheel.
You rock. I love it.
But I sold their stock at 22 or 24. So not that bad.
I got to tell you what my point was when I joined Microsoft, because then I went down into the toilet.
Yeah, so, Zune didn't make it.
No.
Zune,
but I was
yeah.
I was there for Connect as well. And if anyone ever talks about competition, do you respond to your competition? No, you respond to your customers' needs. Because I was in meetings with Steve Ballmer getting mad about the Nintendo Wii, and my boss saying, no, we're not going to come out with another handheld controller. We're going to give customers what they want. So I've seen both sides of it.
Awesome. So Patrick says, absolutely very interesting summit. Thank you so much. Thank you, Stephen. Massive advice here. Cool. Okay, so are you guys ready for your questions? What are the prizes, first of all? So 3 people are going to be getting 3 months access of So Stocked, and this is absolutely free. And then we've got 1 month free gold package worth $1,000 from Amazon Social for one person. And then the mega prize is 3 nights free hotel stay when you visit Global Sources exhibitions in Hong Kong. And this is for one person. Okay, so are you guys ready for the first question? Here it is. Now you've got to be quick. So the first person to answer correctly is going to win this prize. All right, this is an easy one. What does FBM stand for?
Alexa, what does FBM stand for? FBM stands for fulfilled by merchant. Fulfilled by merchant.
Stephen, you're not supposed to answer.
We're not supposed to answer?
I thought CJ's supposed to answer.
We're waiting for people to answer, so they are going to.
Then anyone who's looking for the answer, you got it right. I suck at this.
Well, you helped Lilian. Congratulations, Lilian. And we've also got Margaret Jolly. We got Baiju Lal. Good job. So, Lilian, congratulations. You have won 3 months access to So Stocked. And let's move on to the next question now. So, are you guys ready for the next question? This is also for 3 months. Just you don't answer it. Yes. The process of improving an Amazon product detail page is known as listing dash. Listing what? Listing
Prayer. Oh,
something. Listing prayer. Listing what? You are improving the product detail, and we have a winner. Listing optimization. Yes, congratulations, Margaret. You have got this first. So, okay, I don't see any other oh, Trish, you got it too. Optimization. Yes, that's right. But Margaret
Oh,
was the first
Trish.
to do it. So, Margaret, you win 3 months access to So Stock. Okay, third question. Here we go. Do you need a trademark to access brand registry on Amazon? Yes or no? See, these questions are easy. Do you need
I
a
don't know this
trademark?
one. If anyone has a lawyer in the house we could talk to, answer this one. DJ turning around.
No lawyers here. So
I just play one on YouTube.
no. Trish is saying no. Viv is saying no.
Oh, hello, Viv.
Baiju is saying no. Come on, guys. Of course, you need a trademark to access brand registry. You need to apply for a trademark. Margaret, you've got this right. You said yes.
Trick question, Megla.
Trick question.
Absolutely a trick question. You don't need the mark, but you do need to have the application out.
Yes, you need to have the application. So you need to have a trademark. Well, I guess I should have said you need to have a trademark application, not a trademark.
I think they should all win.
Yeah, they should all win. Okay, you're right. So let me see who's got it first. Trish. Okay, Trish was the first to say no. So I am going to give this to Trish. So Trish, congratulations. 3 months of So Stocked access. Okay, cool. Let's move on to the next one now. So this is number 4. Let me just remove Trisha's answer from here. And then number 4. Okay, this is easy. In sourcing, what does QC stand for? And this is for $1,000 worth of free social media management by Amazon Social. This is by one of our sponsors, Amazon Social. Christina was here yesterday. She did an amazing presentation about how you can do your social media for e-commerce. And so this is for $1,000 with Amazon Social for 1 month. What does QC stand for? Oh my God.
Great. So I'm going to QC stands for quick cash. That's what you give the inspector when they show up to the factory.
And we have got a winner.
In 1996.
Baiju Lal, congratulations. You have won $1,000 worth of free social media management by Amazon Social. So congratulations for that. This is the right answer, quality control. This was an easy one, right?
That's a really good prize too. She's fabulous at social media.
Yes, absolutely amazing. And the service is so affordable. That's what I really like about her. She's not charging like tens of thousands of dollars, but I think really good service. But don't worry if you guys have not, for those of you who have not won this prize, they're also giving away a 20% lifetime discount if you sign up for their services before November 24th. And so you can check out their website at amazon-social.com. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, number 5. Now this is the mega prize, which is 3 days hotel stay in Hong Kong with Global Sources. If you're going to visit Global Sources exhibitions, you get a 3-day hotel stay. And you don't have to redeem this in April. Could be next October, whenever you can travel. This is available to you. And CJ, Stephen, I know you guys are itching to go to Hong Kong, to the shows, to the summit. And
can we answer this one?
Nope. All right, let's go. Come on, guys. Are you ready? How many times in a year are Global Sources exhibitions held in Hong Kong?
Except
I gave
on
away the
COVID
answer.
years.
Yes, except in COVID years. In general, when we can travel, how many times are they held in Hong Kong? Let's see if we have any answers.
Megla, what's that on the wall behind you?
What's that on the wall? That is okay. Who do we have over here? Oh my gosh, are you serious, Margaret? You're the
Margaret's
first
killing it
again.
tonight. Yes, killing it.
Margaret, you're killing it tonight. We've got other people responding too, but Margaret's fast. Bai Julal says 1. No, it's 2. Trish twice. Samuel 2. A lot of people are getting it right 2 times. But Margaret, you have been the fastest to reply. But Margaret, you've already won one prize. Maybe we should give this to somebody else. But Trish has also won another prize. Trish was the third one to get it right. So I'm going to give it to the person after Trish, and that is Samuel Gillen. Samuel, congratulations. You have won 3 nights, free stay, free hotel stay in Hong Kong from Global Sources. Fantastic. You were the first on YouTube. Yes, Samuel, but we are actually live streaming on 3 different channels, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. So we can see all of the comments over here coming on different channels. And so the first one who answers correctly, the first one that appears here on our screen is the one who gets it.
And Samuel won, though.
Yeah, and Samuel won. Yes, you did win, Samuel. So congratulations. Okay.
Do you want to give us the questions
Mark
from
has
the
a
first
direct
day?
link to
Because
Megla. He's fast.
I'm so glad you didn't give us the tough questions like the first day.
Yes, these were the easy questions. Okay, awesome. So what I want you guys to do is all of the winners, you need to send us an email at summitinfo@globalsource.com so that we can set you up with your prizes. Because if you're on Facebook, we can reach you, but if you're on YouTube, it's difficult to reach you. So please send us an email at summitinfo@globalsources.com. Okay, and I also want to give a huge shout out to our sponsors, Amazon Social and Gemba. Thank you so much for supporting Global Sources Summit, for sponsoring us. Really, really appreciate it. And last shout out to their services. So if you sign up for Amazon Social before November 24th, they are giving a 20% off lifetime discount on their services. And for Gemba, if you want to use their services, there's a 10% discount. Use the code GlobalSources10 at gemba.com. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. And CJ, Stephen, any final words before we sign off and close Global Sources Virtual Summit, November 2021?
I think fantastic information. Just really off the charts, great info, stuff haven't heard before. Really great job, Megla. Awesome.
Absolutely. Your guys always put on a great event. And to everyone who has made it through 2020 and 2021, pat yourselves on the back. 2022 hopefully should see things getting easier. And frankly, if it's not, you've proven you can do it. But let's look forward to being optimistic, 2022 being much better. Let's crush it.
Absolutely. Let's crush it in 2022. And we really hope we can get back to in-person events in 2022 and we can all meet at Global Sources exhibitions in Hong Kong. But in the meantime, check out globalsources.com for all of your virtual sourcing needs. Find suppliers there, contact suppliers at globalsources.com. Happy sourcing, everyone, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.